All right, guys, welcome in. Hey, we got a little intrigue today. We've got some mystery. We've got a little spy story for you today, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I intended to do this show yesterday. We just couldn't get it in. We absolutely couldn't get it in. Some shows take so much prep. They take so much prep that even if we're focusing on what could be perceived as small details, they take so much prep that I didn't want to rush it. I promised you guys a long time ago, if I didn't have a good show prepared, I would boot to the next day. And I did it. In Vatican City blue today, Vatican City ceiling blue, in honor of Ash Wednesday. I promise you I had ashes. I don't know where they went. They wore off over the course of the day. But we've got a banger today. We've got a lot going on. And I look forward to it. If you're one of the members, you saw a long episode yesterday. My voice is absolutely cooked. We went 4.5 hours yesterday on the members show. And I think we plotted a path forward for the next members show. Going to get really weird on the next members show. We're going to talk about things that you don't talk about in polite company. So we'll stay tuned. Have a good time. We'll be there. We'll get there. It'll be next week. I doubt I'll do another member show this week. Maybe this weekend or maybe sometime next week. But gather around the fireplace. Come on. Oh, I got a new sign back here. An old radio listener of mine, a guy started listening to me about whenever that show started, 12, 13 years ago, maybe longer. Sent me this sign in the mail. He sent me a note. He said, "What's your address?" I told him, and then I opened the mail the other day and that was in there. And I think it's beautiful. And I sure appreciate his thoughtfulness there. And you got to see Mrs. Coleman. She made a lovely appearance yesterday. I saw that flying up the comments. Yes, Mrs. Coleman arrived on the scene yesterday during the members show for a brief appearance, just long enough to say hello. But I was happy to see her join the show. And so we had a lot going on. Today's open, I tried to explain this at the end of the show the other day. These opens are building towards a particular point. We talked about the breakdown of the FBI in the Boston Marathon bombing. We talked about how the FBI arrived on the scene of a domestic violence dispute. And then the person who was there when the FBI showed up did not get charged, or the charges mysteriously vanished. They went away. We're going to have a little bit more of that tonight. There's going to be a little component of that tonight. So I hope you will buckle your safety harness, enjoy the rest of the program. And we're going to get into what I think is an overlooked component of something that happened on the day of September 10th in Utah. Well, actually two overlooked component, because you guys remember that weird plane that took off on September 10th, and in the middle of the flight down to Arizona or whatever, it turned its transponder off? If we have time, we're going to get to that at the end of the night, at the end of the show today. If we run out of time, we're going to do that tomorrow, because tomorrow we're putting together sort of an initial timeline. I don't know if you guys follow Candace Owens on, I don't know if it's Instagram or Facebook or X or what platform she put it on, but she put a little video up about Charlie and the witches. You remember that? And she made an interesting comment, and it's kind of building. Her comment kind of dovetails on what we're planning to do tomorrow with the program. Is sometimes you got to go back to the beginning. You got to go back to the basics of an investigation, because you have all this new material that's taken place over the last 4 or 5 months. And if we don't go re-examine those first 2 hours, 4 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, sometimes we'll get lost in the detail and you don't see the forest because you're just focusing on a single tree. So I think tomorrow or Friday, we're going to get into we're going to take an elevated look back to those initial days. Today is going to provide a key jumping off point for that. So I hope you guys will hang out with me for the duration of the program. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Click notifications, share with your buddies, invite people in, call people and say Barron hits the mute button on the board before he coughs, so you don't have to worry about him hacking in your ear all night. My voice, seriously, after a 4.5 hour show yesterday, my voice is absolutely obliterated. But I am a professional. I will get through this. I will not be deterred. All right, guys. Here's your opening. Harold James Jim Nicholson. Harold James Jim Nicholson was born on November 17, 1950 in Woodburn, Oregon. He was the son of a career U.S. Air Force officer. He grew up in a military family, which often means frequent relocations. Young Jim's life was no exception. The constant moves made it challenging for Jim to form lasting friendships. He attended high school across California bases, finally graduating from Novato High School in 1969. And this was the peak of the Vietnam War protests. He didn't participate in them out of respect for his father's military service. At Oregon State University, Jim Nicholson pursued ROTC training while studying for his degree. It was there that he met his future wife in a fencing class. They married after his graduation in 1973, and Jim Nicholson was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. His military career flourished. He rose quickly to captain, commanding a company in the 101st Airborne Division's intelligence unit. He specialized in cryptography and staff intelligence roles and adapted quite well to the structured life of a military man. His wife, however, did not. She grew quite dissatisfied with the constant moves, especially after their first child was born in 1978. That's when Nicholson left the Army to find stability and settled for a civilian job at Hallmark Cards in Kansas City. He found it quite boring and unchallenging and quit after a year. In October 1980, he joined the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. He underwent rigorous top-secret training at Camp Peary in Virginia, a place known within the agency as the Farm. His CIA tenure spanned 16 years of overseas assignments. He honed his skills in counterintelligence and operations against foreign adversaries, including the Soviet Union and later Russia. From 1982 to 1985, he served in the Philippines. From 1985 to 1987, he was in Thailand. 1987 to 1989, he was in Tokyo. From 1990 to 1992, he was appointed Chief of Station in Romania and oversaw operations during a turbulent post-Cold War period. Concerns arose about his workaholic tendencies and his family strains, but the CIA disregarded those warning signs and transferred him instead to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, as the Deputy Chief of Station from 1992 to 1994. While there in Malaysia, he targeted Russian intelligence officers. By this point, his marriage had mostly deteriorated. His wife had filed for divorce in 1992, and the divorce was finalized in 1994. Despite his career and frequent relocations, Nicholson got custody of their 3 children due to his wife's alleged instability. In all, the Nicholson family had moved 21 times in the preceding 23 years. Nicholson returned to the United States after the divorce and became an instructor at the Farm from 1994 to 1996. He taught tradecraft to new recruits. In July of 1996, he became the branch chief in the CIA's Counterterrorism Center at Langley headquarters. He was known by the radio call sign Batman in South Asia and was seen as a highly capable operative. But his personal financial pressures after his divorce and his ego-driven motivations simmered beneath the surface. His downfall began in the early 1990s. While in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, he had 4 authorized meetings with Russian intelligence officers, 3 of which were at the embassy, which the CIA knew about. However, these likely marked the start of his recruitment by Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service. Nicholson allegedly was inspired by the high-profile arrest of CIA mole Aldridge Ames, news of which broke in February of 1994. He saw an opportunity for financial gain and believed he would not get caught because his tradecraft was superior to that of Aldridge Ames. He began spying for the Russians in June of 1994. He sold classified information, including the identities of CIA officers in Russia and trainees at the Farm. Over 2 years, he amassed about $300,000, wiring unexplained funds like a $12,000 deposit to an account of his in Oregon. Suspicion mounted in 1995 when he failed a polygraph exam. He failed 2, actually, one in October, one in December. He showed signs of deception on questions about unauthorized foreign contacts. He tried manipulating the tests with breathing techniques, but it didn't work. A U.S. mole in Russian intelligence had tipped off the CIA about Russian interest in Chechen rebels, and Nicholson inexplicably began questioning colleagues on the topic without any professional need. FBI surveillance nearly immediately followed. The FBI captured reported meetings in Singapore, Thailand, and Malaysia, including entering a Russian embassy vehicle. They found large cash deposits, loan payoffs, and transfers to his children's accounts that also raised red flags. At one point, he requested a clandestine briefcase camera. It was irrelevant to his role, and he also sent coded postcards to handlers under an alias. Nicholson finally went down in November of 1996. He was transferred to a supervisory role at the farm and was monitored by an undercover FBI agent posing as his deputy. On November 16, he was arrested at Dulles International Airport before boarding a flight to Zurich, Switzerland. When authorities searched his luggage, they found exposed film and a disk of classified data on CIA Moscow staff and Russian capabilities. He was convicted of espionage and sentenced to 23 years in prison. And this was after cooperating to reduce his sentence. Prosecutors noted he was the highest-ranking CIA officer of all time, convicted of spying for a foreign power, even though his case was much less publicized than convicted spies like Aldrich Ames. The youngest of Jim Nicholson's 3 children was a child named Nathaniel Nicholson. He went by Nathan. He was born around 1984 and was the youngest of 3 children. He was just 12 years old when his father was arrested in 1996. Despite his father's arrest and conviction, Nathan idolized his dad, Jim. He visited his father regularly in prison. They maintained close contact through letters and phone calls. Like his father, Nathan was quite shy and struggled to find a path in life. After high school, he enlisted in the U.S. Army around 2004, hoping to follow in his heroic father's military footsteps. However, a back injury during training forced him out and left him directionless and depressed. At one low point, Nathan was contemplating suicide. And perhaps it was fate, but a timely prison call from his father, who was unaware of his son's despair, helped talk him through it. Back in Oregon, Nathan bounced around. He took some community college classes. He did some odd jobs and mostly lived modestly while trying to find his identity and purpose. He saw himself as the loyal son and was eager to prove his worth to his imprisoned father. This was a vulnerability that made him ripe for manipulation. In fact, Jim began conditioning Nathan around 2006 during his prison visits. From his cell in Sheridan, Jim Nicholson masterminded a bold continuation of his espionage. He recruited Nathan as his go-between to collect debts owed to him from the Russians. Jim explained to Nathan that these were nothing more than additional payments for past secrets and lingering intelligence. So, starting around 2006, Jim used his prison visits, his phone calls, and his letters to instruct Nathan in covert tradecraft. He drew on his CIA training and passed that training on to his son. He framed it as a family duty. He convinced Nathan it was harmless and only meant to retrieve the money he was rightfully owed. Nathan was devoted. He was naive. He saw himself as Jim's sidekick, like Robin to Batman, and he agreed to help. In October 2006, Nathan walked right into the Russian consulate in San Francisco and identified himself as the son of a high-ranking CIA traitor. On his second visit, he received $5,000 in cash and promises of more. Over the next 2 years, Nathan made 6 trips to meet Russian handlers, twice in San Francisco and overseas in Mexico, Peru, and Cyprus. He passed notes from Jim detailing his 1996 arrest, detailing FBI methods, and detailing the identities of investigators, all of which was very valuable counterintelligence for Russia. In return, Nathan collected over $47,000. He evaded currency reporting by carrying cash under $10,000 and distributing funds to family as his father directed. Nevertheless, his carelessness grew. He slipped uncoded references in letters and calls, like one time mentioning a thing. His carelessness eventually triggered FBI suspicion, and by 2008, agents obtained warrants tapping his phone, tracking his car, and monitoring his emails. During a Cyprus return, Customs inspected his luggage and found a journal full of incriminating details. The FBI recorded his final Cyprus meeting at a TGI Fridays where he received cash. The FBI arrested him in late 2008, and he quickly cooperated. He turned on his father. He agreed to record a prison visit that confirmed the entire plot. Nathan and his father were indicted in January of 2009. Nathan pleaded guilty and avoided prison and crucially agreed to testify against his hero, his father. Jim, the father, pleaded guilty in November 2010 to conspiracy and money laundering and received an additional 8 years in prison. He was finally released from prison in 2023 after 27 total years of incarceration. He's barred from contacting his son, Nathan. Nathan later reflected on the ordeal, questioning if it was worth the risk. And he acknowledged his father's charisma as a master manipulator and declined to answer. And that's your opening statement. And it has parallels to what we're going to cover tonight, a father-son combination. So let's keep that in mind as we plot a path forward for tonight, because tonight's pretty dense. It's heavy on details. And I think what you're going to find is over the course of the evening, we might realize that a critical component of this entire story is being overlooked. And to me, it's a big one. And I don't know why I didn't see it staring me in the face the entire time. I actually went back and searched this guy's name, the name we're going to talk about tonight, in my emails. And several emailers actually alerted me to this in the last couple of months. And for whatever reason, I didn't pay any attention to it. Like, it didn't dawn on me. I looked at it and I was like, we've already checked that guy out. But the reality is we had not checked that guy out, not sufficiently. Open with a news story. This is just a couple of minutes here, a local news story from Texas. And this news story will introduce our character tonight, a guy we have overlooked, I believe. So here we go.
The manhunt for Charlie Kirk's killer stretches into another day. Authorities looking for this person of interest they need help identifying. But as police continue their search,
we located a couple of persons of interest.
A North Texas family who calls this 25-year-old their son says the search for truth has already cost them.
And after clearing them of being suspects, they face scrutiny. They face threats.
Those threats, the scrutiny, underscored by Utah DPS Commissioner Bo Mason Thursday, fell partly on Zechariah Qureshi Wednesday. He was questioned after Kirk's murder, named the second person of interest that day. Initially, FBI Director Kash Patel called him the subject for this horrific shooting on X. But after an interrogation, he was cleared. Not before, however, at least one major media outlet named him. Social media users then started peering into Qureshi's life. This is just one post. It has 25,000 views displaying Qureshi's BYU student photo. His background on LinkedIn is also uploaded online. His family's home address in North Texas posted too. Very little of it has been taken down. His family tells us they were never told why he was questioned in the first place.
They don't deserve that harassment for being subject to that.
Qureshi's mother, who lives in North Texas, spoke with us by phone Thursday, saying local police are ensuring their safety. We're not saying where to respect their privacy. She mentioned Qureshi graduated from a North Texas high school and then BYU. He lives in Utah now, newly engaged, and an MBA student. She went on to say that her son was in the crowd when Kirk was shot. The 25-year-old has attended a Turning Point USA event before and is devastated for Kirk's family, his mother said. In Utah, the manhunt goes on. But for Qureshi, his family asks, the finger pointing at them, to stop.
So this was a news story in the very day after the Charlie Kirk event. And it identified a guy, and I'd kind of forgotten all about it. There was a guy that was detained. It didn't say arrested, but detained in the first few hours after Charlie Kirk went down, and his name was Zechariah Qureshi. His full name is Zechariah Ahmed Qureshi. I heard that name initially, and I thought, oh, there's a Muslim component. There must be a Muslim component to this. Well, there's not. He is Mormon. He is a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, and he is an active member. Like, he went on his mission. He went to BYU. He actually just got married in the last few months. And he is an interesting character. I want to dive a little deeper into him because when we were doing the timeline last night, his name actually came up multiple times, if you recall. I didn't mean to play that if you just heard it running in the background. His name actually came up multiple times. But we're going to get to that in a second. I want to go next to an article that mentions his father. And his father gives us an idea of where was Zechariah Qureshi in the time when Charlie Kirk was first taken down, as well as where he was in the hours after Charlie Kirk was taken down. So this is the article here. It's headlined absolutely uncalled for and insane. This is the family of a person of interest interrogated by police on Charlie Kirk's assassination speaks out. So here is what we have. This is the father's quote. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely uncalled for and insane. This is the father of the man detained by police. That is Zechariah Qureshi's father. We'll talk about him in a minute, but just for now, let's just assume he's the father. Now, I want to scroll down because it's going to give us some biographical information. Zechariah Qureshi, a resident of Provo, returned Latter-day Saint missionary, attended the event as a supporter. Qureshi's father told the news organization that his son was mistakenly detained by police, and his son had absolutely no role in the assassination. Well, what was his son doing? Qureshi said he was in line to ask a question. I'll say this. If that's true, I cannot find evidence of that. I've looked at every video, every photograph I can find. I don't see him in line to ask a question, but I admittedly don't know that I've seen the entire line to ask a question. But his father says he was in line to ask a question. He was just 20 feet away when the shooting occurred. He said his son went back to his Provo apartment before being found by federal agents and police officers who brought him in to be interrogated, despite there being no evidence to implicate him in the assassination. So he was released and then cleared. This is according to DPS Commissioner Bo Mason, who, as we looked at the very beginning of my investigation into the Charlie Kirk taking downing, we recall Bo Mason appeared quite prominently in the Google Trend searches overseas and in the District of Columbia here in these United States. But I don't want to get into that part of it. We can explore that part later as we do the timeline if we need to. But I want to focus on the federal agents component because it reminds me a lot of what happened in the domestic violence arrest with the Boston Marathon bombing. Do you remember the open I did a few episodes ago? If you don't, it's worth going back and watching. I don't remember what I was wearing or what show it was, but it was 3 or 4 shows ago. And there was the Boston Marathon bombing, and they captured the one kid and tried him, but the other kid there were 2 brothers, and one of them was killed at the scene or in a shootout after the scene. And another person shows up, and he is later arrested. There was a guy named Daniel Morley, if you recall. Daniel Morley was arrested a couple of months later, and he was found when he was arrested. He was arrested for domestic violence against his mom and his mom's boyfriend. He was threatening to harm them, threatening to burn their house down, threatening to detonate bombs. So the local police showed up, and they were surprised. The local police were stunned when FBI agents rolled in right after they got there. And what they found was bomb-making equipment that was nearly identical, or I want to say identical, but I'm going to hedge and say allegedly identical. Allegedly identical to the bombs that went off at the Boston Massacre. The Boston bombing. Nevertheless, Daniel Morley did not face bomb charges or terrorism charges or anything like that. No aiding and abetting, nothing related to the Boston Marathon bombing. It was all about the domestic violence against his mom and his mom's boyfriend. And then he was mysteriously null-prossed. They dismissed the charges. And as you look back on it, you say, man, that guy sure looked like he was involved. There was more to it than that. People identified him at a robbery near the scene. I mean, there was a lot going on for him not to face any charges whatsoever, or even any additional investigation. So I looked at this and thought, man, federal agents showed up at this guy's apartment? Well, what was he doing in the meantime? What made them show up at his apartment anyway? You know, there weren't a lot of people detained in the aftermath. There was the George Zinn, but he was detained because he took his hat off, started waving, his pants fell down. He was saying, I did it, I did it, I did it. It was me, I did it, I did it, I did it. Well, that's interesting to me. So he's detained. He's eventually arrested. He's found with images of minors on his phone, and then I don't know if he pleaded guilty or was already tried and convicted. I don't know, but he's in jail on those, waiting those charges, or tried on those charges. I'm not sure which. And the only other person that they actually arrested and detained, I think, was this guy. And so what was it about this guy that landed him on the radar? We're going to look at that. And to do so, we got to go back to what we talked about last night. We got to go back and listen to some of the audio clips that popped up last night. And I'm going to pull those up and we will listen to them together. And you guys, you tell me if you think this guy should have been looked at a little closer, maybe detained. Because the first time his name is mentioned is at 3:11 p.m. 3:11 p.m. Now, just to give you an idea of when this is relative to the Charlie Kirk Big Bang, the Big Bang happened at 12:23. So at 12:23 to 3:11 is almost 3 hours. Or no, yeah, almost 3 hours. That's plenty of time for anyone who was at the event to get home. Because his dad, if you recall, said he had gone back to his apartment and he didn't know why he was detained. It was just a comedy of errors. So what did the police say that this guy was doing in the meantime? So we'll listen to this and you guys tell me if his story lines up to his dad's story. I have my doubts, but I will let you guys be the ultimate call because you guys are, in fact, the jury.
Continuing attempt to locate active shooter suspect.
Tactical vest and a black mask, possibly carrying a rifle. Toyota Corolla, S820 Bravo Lima. Suspect possible name Zechariah Qureshi, date of birth 5/12/2000. The male is going from hospital to hospital looking for the victim. Again, use 10-0. Notify if located in detail 1511.
So if you didn't hear it, I'll read you the transcript here. Continuing to locate active shooter suspect, tactical vest and a black mask, possibly carrying a rifle. Who do they identify that person as? Driving a Toyota Corolla, and then they give a license plate. Then they say suspect possible name, Zechariah Qureshi. Then they give a birth date. To spoil the surprise, it's his birthday. The male is going from hospital to hospital looking for the victim. The male is going from hospital to hospital looking for the victim. Then they say use 10-0. That is extreme caution. Use extreme caution and notify if located. Then they identify the time of that broadcast as 1511, and they go on and do a description one more time just in case you didn't get it. It's coming up.
Height 5'11", 198 pounds. Hazel eyes, blonde hair, male. End of broadcast 1511.
So again, end of broadcast 1511. Height 5'11", 198, hazel eyes, blonde hair, male. That is an accurate description of the guy we just looked at. That is an accurate description of the guy that was just put up. They also said the guy was in a tactical vest, a black mask, possibly carrying a rifle, and going from hospital to hospital looking for the victim. Hospital to hospital looking for the victim. I am trying to find an innocent explanation for that. I'm trying to find an innocent explanation for why anyone would think he's doing that if he wasn't doing that. His dad said he went back to his apartment. Well, if he just went back to his apartment, why is anyone trying to track him down? Again, let's just go through the timeline. 12:23, you have the Big Bang. Let's say there's 15 or 20 minutes of total chaos before anyone goes to their car. That puts us at, let's say, 12:40, 12:45. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 22 minutes of total chaos. Well, then you walk back to your car, 20 minutes. You're looking 1 o'clock, maybe 5 after 1. There's some traffic. Let's say it's 30 minutes of extra traffic. He lives a couple of miles away from campus. Let's say it's 30 minutes of extra traffic. That's 1:30. And then he's 5 minutes from home. That's 1:35. Let's add an extra hour. Just because sometimes timelines get off and sometimes, let's just say it took him an extra hour to get home. Well, that's 2:30. It's 2 total hours, more than 2 hours after the Big Bang to go literally down the street. He could have walked it 10 times in that period of time. And he's still out there, and the police say he's in that car going hospital to hospital looking for the victim and may have a rifle. That's oddly specific. That's oddly specific information to have a license plate number, a description of the car, a description of the suspect. Is that the only broadcast about this? Actually, no, there's more. I will play it here shortly after I share it back on the screen, because I'm not one of those people who just plays an audio and looks over here while you guys are watching me and I think you're listening to it. I wouldn't do such a thing.
Also have male carrying a black bag with tan straps. Possibly driving a 2016 black Toyota Corolla, 28 Sierra 820 Bravo Lima. Suspect is Zechariah Qureshi, 512 of 2000. Male is going hospital to hospital looking for the victim. Test 1512.
In the broadcast 1512. So this is now 3:12 p.m. They still have not identified, they still have not located this person. They're still on the lookout for him. And someone in police world out there is reporting that he's out there going hospital to hospital in this car, fitting his own description, looking for Charlie Kirk. That's a weird set of facts. That's the type of facts that will have federal agents and state law enforcement showing up at your door. So let's go one more description here. Actually, we have 2 more, but here's one more in this immediate time period right here. And they'll tell us where he was and when. And I don't know if they're using the flock cameras or they have their own traffic cameras, or this was an officer spotted him or somebody made a phone call and said, I'm looking at him. But there's very specific time period here where he was last seen.
20 Bravo Lima, Sierra 82 Bravo Lima local, last seen eastbound University Parkway in Orem. About 6 minutes ago now. Correction, about 14 minutes ago now. No ID on the shooter at this time.
So they're saying 14 minutes ago. Now, this broadcast was at 3:17 p.m. And what the dispatcher is saying is at 3:03 p.m., and that's an oddly specific time. It's not like we saw him a little bit ago or in the last 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, they're talking to the minute. 14 minutes ago. 14 minutes ago, he was last seen eastbound on University Parkway. I will pull up a map and we can look at East University Parkway, or we can look at University Parkway ourselves, and we can get an idea of where he was last seen, because it is telling about what he was doing. I'll have to pull up a Google Maps version because Earth does not have the the labels of the roads in here. This one does. This one does. All right. Here is University Parkway. This is University Parkway right here. It's this, not the Walmart. We're not going to the Walmart, people. We're not those people tonight. All right. So here's where Charlie Kirk was taken down. You guys recall this. If you zoom out, this is University Parkway right here. This spotting was after 3 p.m. Almost 3 hours. Almost 3 hours after Charlie Kirk was taken down. He's spotted going east on University Parkway. So he's driving right next to the campus on University Parkway. Now, maybe he was on this side of the interstate, but University Parkway ends right here. Maybe he was a little further over here to drive east. I mean, maybe he was in front of the strip mall across from campus, but he was close. And so what we have here is we have a series of dispatches from the police that say they've spotted this guy going hospital to hospital looking for the suspect. We have a series of dispatches that say he may be armed. He may have a rifle and is wearing tactical gear. We have a series of dispatches that accurately describe him as 5'11", blonde hair, hazel eyes. That's a very accurate description. We have a series of broadcasts that accurately describe his vehicle. It's a Toyota Corolla, black. We have a series of broadcasts that accurately give his license plate. I'm not going to repeat it again. You guys heard it. Only because I don't want to say it, not because, it's public record now. And then you have a very specific time, 3:03 p.m., 3:02, maybe 3:03, where he was seen right next to campus, driving east. And if you look around, there are 3 or 4 different hospitals in the area. I would submit to you he went to at least 2 because it said he's going from hospital to hospital looking for the victim. This is problematic. This is really problematic just now, and we've not even gone any further than this, and we will tonight. We will go much further. But we've already spotted a problematic set of facts. We've got a young man who's in the right age range to know these people, perhaps. I don't know. Early 20s. We've got a young man in his early 20s that the police are looking for because he's allegedly doing suspicious things. And we also have another fact that I think is critical is that his father said he went home. He went to his apartment. Well, you can't go to your apartment, also go hospital to hospital and drive down University Parkway. Those two things are incompatible. And so his father, right now, I look and say, I don't believe what his father's saying. Notice they didn't quote the kid. They only quoted the father. The kid is exercising, well, he's remaining silent. Let's say that. He's remaining silent on the issue. I don't know if he's exercising his right to remain silent. I don't know if I was his lawyer, I would tell him to remain silent. So let's dig in just a little bit because now I'm intrigued. We have one more broadcast that I want to play, and then we will look a little further at who is this guy. One more quick broadcast I want to play. This one's only about 5 seconds, so this is going to be a quick one. Let me get the time up so I can find it. This is a very, very quick broadcast here. It's going to take me. The time stamping on these is just miserable. You can only go 30 seconds at a time. So if you want to play a 5-second clip, you got to go in the past and you got to play like 10 or 15 seconds of silence. But these are just recordings of the radio broadcast from that day, and we can correspond the times. And so this broadcast I'm going to play here corresponds to 4:45 p.m. 4:45 p.m. Now I want you to listen to the name that is identified. So they're going to the apartment in Provo, Zechariah's landlord. That's 4:45 p.m. If they're talking to his landlord, I have to believe that he's not there yet. Now, maybe he was. I have no idea why they would need to get in touch with his landlord if he's at his apartment. Just knock on his door, he'll answer the door. If he had nothing to do with it, he should say, come on in, officer. Actually, he shouldn't. He should say, go away without a warrant, even if he had nothing to do with it, but whatever, irrelevant. That's my legal advice to you guys. Don't ever let him in to ask questions. Oh, are you serious? There was no sound? Oh, no. I've already closed it. Here's what they said. Apartment in Provo, Zechariah's landlord. It was 4:45 p.m. I'll play it again. I don't want you guys to think I'm just making stuff up. But now I got to find it again. And then I'd silenced it because of the, maybe I didn't share it. I'd silenced it because of the long gap in order to queue it up. So let me get it queued up again, and then I'll share it. I just pulled an Ian. Tell Ian I'm sorry. If I had to pay Ian $5 every time I pulled an Ian, I'd be broke. Y'all be fine. You'd find me out on the street corner panhandling. Let me get you here. Come on, guys. Here we go. Now let me know if you can't hear it. You should be able to hear it in full blast.
This apartment in Provo, Zechariah's landlord.
So they're going to an apartment in Provo, Zechariah's landlord. That's what they said. Now, why are they needing to get in touch with the landlord if Zechariah is there? Because his dad said he went back to the apartment. Dad said he went back to the apartment. The police department disagrees. The police department says somebody matching his description, matching his car's description, matching his car's license plate, is driving hospital to hospital, perhaps with a gun, dressed in all black, looking for the victim, looking for Charlie Kirk. The police department says he's driving down University Parkway at 3:03. The police department says they're needing to talk to his landlord at 4:45 p.m. And so we have to ask, now that we've looked at all this, now that we've opened the discussion on the fact that I don't believe his father, the fact that I'm weirded out by all these facts, they detained him, they questioned him, and then they just let him go with no charges. I'm curious who this guy is. Who is Zechariah Qureshi? Now, I will preface everything I'm going to say tonight. Unless your name is Candace Owens, because she obviously doesn't listen to me. She takes every piece of advice I give, and she just disregards it. But unless your name is Candace Owens, please don't reach out to this guy. Don't knock on his door. Don't text him. Don't comment on his Facebook pages. Don't comment on Instagram. Don't try to track him down. Don't try to interfere with him. Don't just leave him alone. Now, if you're Candace Owens, you're going to do whatever you want, but you can do that, Candace. I'm okay with it. I'm going to allow it. The rest of you should listen to me. Let me speak authoritatively. Who is this guy? What do we know about him? This is Zechariah Qureshi. He is a senior analyst at Epic Ventures. He lives in, apparently, Salt Lake City, Utah. I think he lives in Provo. I don't know why it says Salt Lake. Here's about him: global business and Middle East studies, interested in B2B software as a service, emerging markets, global political risks, speaks Dutch and Arabic. And again, this guy's a member of the LDS Church. He is not a member of Islam. He's not any Middle Eastern religions or anything like that. Now let's look at his bio a little bit. I think it'll give us a little indication of more about him here. Let's start at the bottom. He went on a mission trip to the Netherlands. That was his mission trip. Went on a mission trip to the Netherlands. We'll talk about that in just a second. Then he went to BYU. When he finished BYU, he became a student assistant in the Arabic flagship program. He became a teaching assistant in the Department of Asian and Near Eastern Studies. Then he goes into the private sector here and becomes a business analyst intern in the Washington, D.C. area. Then he goes to Oman. He goes to Oman for a company called Phase Ventures as an intern. Then he goes to Heritage Foundation. Heritage Foundation is like the grown-up version of TPUSA. The Heritage Foundation, if you're not familiar with Heritage Foundation, look it up. When Donald Trump got elected the first time in 2016, I had a lot of friends that applied to go work with the Trump administration. Several of them got jobs. There's something called the Plum Book. The Plum Book, when you go to work, when you become the new president, they put the president gets thousands of appointments, like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 appointments. And the president doesn't know that many people, so he relies on staff. And they have something called a Plum Book. And this Plum Book advertises all the available appointments. And it's from low level to high level, like the attorney general's in there. And so is like the guy at some little agency you've never heard of who's deputy general counsel. They're all in there. So I looked into it because I had friends calling me saying, hey, I want to go work for the Trump administration. What do I need to do? And I said, well, you're going to need to look in the Plum Book. And then so I called around and I finally found somebody who knew what the heck they were talking about. And they said, no. Trump isn't vetting people. Heritage is. I said, what? Yeah, Heritage Foundation's doing all the hiring. They're doing all the appointments. So this is not some fly-by-night charity. This is a charity that has significant pull in Washington, D.C. significant pull in Washington, D.C. They're the ones that came up with Project 2025 that all the Democrats were freaking out about. Oh, if Trump gets in, he's going to institute Project 2025. That was a Heritage paper. They're a big deal. They're a big deal. So he goes to work at Heritage in Washington, D.C. So he goes Washington, D.C. to Oman, Jordan, back to Washington, D.C. And while he's there, he's assigned to the Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy. He drafts policy recommendations, identifies opportunities. He researches blind spots and weak points where foreign governments are susceptible to foreign infiltration. State and local governments are susceptible to foreign infiltration. So he's doing like big boy work. He's only there a few months, but he's getting involved in Washington, D.C. big boy politics. Then he goes to work as a sales intern at Built Incorporated. We'll revisit this in just a moment. Who is Built? But it's in Texas. It's where he's from. He's originally from Texas, the Fort Worth area, the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. So he goes to Built, and he's there for a few months. Then he goes into the educational field, and he becomes a CASA Fellow at Boren Scholar at the Institute of International Education. The IIE works closely with the United States Department of State. This is, I'm not saying it's like a spy operation operating as an NGO, but it's kind of looks like a spy operation operating as an NGO, for being honest. They put teachers in foreign countries. And so he applies and is selected for the Center for Arabic Study Abroad program for intensive Arabic language, culture, and area studies, training at Qasid Arabic Institute in Amman, Jordan. And he finally leaves there after 10 months, and he stays in the public sector and goes to the University of Utah and starts working as a senior analyst with University of Utah Ventures. And if you guys know, the University of Utah is like Utah Valley University, let's just admit it, it's a spy training school, guys. It's just what it is. We'll talk about that in a second. So he's a senior analyst for University of Utah Ventures, and simultaneously, he's a senior analyst for Epic Ventures. And Epic Ventures is a venture capital firm that invests in technology companies with a focus on SaaS, healthcare, security, and future of work sectors. And if you dig into this, what you'll find is Epic and Utah Ventures, University of Utah Ventures, they teamed up for a $200 million investment. Epic Ventures, where this guy works, made a $200 million investment into University of Utah Ventures. That is not small time investing. That is big boy business. This guy's working for both of these entities. And he's a senior analyst. And recall, he speaks Dutch and Arabic, and he has all this stuff. He was an Arabic linguist at the LDS Church. Still is, I guess. And he went to BYU, and he's fully proficient in Arabic and Dutch, and he was an Eagle Scout. So this is who he is. Now, that's just a primer, right? We've got more. We've got more. So let me show you a little something on the Dutch people. If you end up in the Netherlands at any point, just know you're in a spy center. Can't get this to pull up. That's convenient. Oh, please. I'll show you one more thing here. This is the Association of the United States Navy, supporting America's sailors through advocacy, community, and educational resources. Here is young Zechariah Qureshi working with the United States Navy on Middle East studies, Arabic. So, again, we're not talking about somebody who's not very connected. This is a guy who, let me just manually. So I'm trying to redirect and it's not working. Let me just manually drop this in and see if that helps. And if not, I'll just skip it and go to the next one while it's running. Let me show you a little bit about not just what's going on with young Zechariah Qureshi. Let me show you potentially what's going on with TPUSA in general. As we know, they have a significant LDS population at the very highest ranks of TPUSA. So I thought, is there any connection between TPUSA and intelligence? Is there any connection between the LDS and intelligence? Well, the truth about government agencies' rumored special interest in recruiting LDS turns out to be more nuanced. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have long been rumored to be special targets. Make this a little bigger for you so you can see it. Special targets for recruitment in government and security agencies. 1971, a Ramparts magazine article claimed the LDS provided both the CIA and FBI with some of their best men. 1981, AP story. CIA does some of its most successful recruiting in predominantly LDS Utah. 2015, Atlas Obscura article headlined Why Mormons Make Great FBI Recruits. Notes that agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the CIA see Mormons as particularly desirable recruits and have a reputation for hiring a disproportionate number of people who belong to the church. 2017 book, FBI and Religion, dedicates a full chapter to the connection, calling church members a natural recruiting ground for agents. Tracy Walder, a former CIA officer and special agent and author of The Unexpected Spy, says the rumor was so common internally that by the time she worked for the government, it had become a running joke that Mormons are what the agency wanted in their recruitment. So this is just a taste of perhaps what we're looking at. So is that the only thing? Well, no, as a matter of fact, it's not. Here is that Atlas Obscura article. I will show you this. What sparked rumors of a Mormon mafia? Why Mormons make great FBI recruits. When the Pew Research Center surveyed Mormons in America about their place in society, more than 60% of participants said Americans are uninformed about Mormonism. They make up about 2% of the American population, but they're not sure the rest of the country quite understands or accepts them. They describe misperceptions as a lack of acceptance in American society. But there's at least one place where they found an unusual degree of acceptance. Agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the CIA, which see Mormons as particularly desirable recruits. And this article is just littered with examples. And the article I can't get to pull up talks about how the Netherlands, the Dutch, had an unbelievably close relationship with American intelligence agencies up until the last couple of years. Like in 23 or 24, that all started to dissipate a little bit. But I don't buy it. I don't believe it's dissipated at all. I think that's a planted story to try to throw people off the scent. The reality is there are tremendous international institutions headquartered in the Netherlands, as well as all of Europe's natural gas infrastructure pretty much running through the Netherlands at some point or the other. And if you're in the Netherlands and you talk to somebody with an American accent, you're probably talking to someone in intelligence. That's the point of the article that I can't get to pull up. So let's see. Now we know a little bit about Zechariah Qureshi. We know a little bit about where he's worked. We know a little bit about his biography. We know a little bit about why police were looking for him. I'm a little weirded out that somebody who had that description on the police radio dispatch, who had that description of going hospital to hospital looking for the victim, I'm a little weirded out that he wasn't even arrested, or that we weren't given a firm explanation. Because if we didn't have the radio broadcast, all we would have is the news articles, and it's just slop. It's just total Fed slop. We looked at him. We just got the wrong guy. There was never an explanation of why they picked him up. Not in any of the articles. You have to listen to the raw radio broadcast, the raw dispatch. And when you listen to the raw dispatch, you're like, no wonder they picked him up. Thank God they picked him up. Why didn't they arrest him? Is it true? Was he doing this? I would like an explanation from the news media or from the FBI or from local police agencies. I would like an explanation that says, well, here's why we had these radio dispatches. We thought he was going hospital to hospital looking for the victim. And we thought it was a guy in a Toyota Corolla, and we thought it had the same license plate, and we thought it matched his description. Here's why we were mistaken. Because if you're not mistaken, why didn't you arrest him? Why'd you let him go? Why no explanation for what happened to him? So let's look at his father. Let's look at his father, because sometimes you look at the family of people and you go, aha, now I get what's going on. Now I understand it. So let's look at his father real quick and see if we can get any indication as to where Zechariah Qureshi comes from. This is his dad. He's a young guy. Zechariah Qureshi's father is a guy named Ahmed Qureshi. He's the co-founder, president, and COO of a company called Built, B-I-L-T. You'll recognize that from Zechariah's resume. He is, Built is a company that made a revolutionary app utilizing 3D technology to deliver instructions on how to use equipment. So let's look a little bit about his life, his childhood in Saudi Arabia, his majoring in Middle Eastern studies at BYU, his helping Papa John's expand internationally. I will attest to you that that's in the Middle East. We'll show that in just a second. While serving his country in the reserves. We'll look at his military career in just a moment. What does he do there? Here is his bio. Ahmed Qureshi is a global business executive, consultant, entrepreneur, national security professional who has more than 30 years experience living, studying, and working both at home in the United States and abroad. He's worked for multinational corporations, his own startup firms, advised organizations on cross-cultural team building. And then it gives you a little bit about what he does here. In 2004, he co-founded Harbinger Technologies Group, where he helped develop entity resolution software and oversee the training of more than 35,000 law enforcement and military personnel. From 2004 to 2017, he was an adjunct professor at the United States Air Force Special Operations School. He's a graduate of Middle Eastern Studies program at BYU. He has an MBA at the Thunderberg School of Global Management. That's Arizona State University. He was at the Naval War College Command and Staff Program, the Joint Forces Staff College Program, and was a year-long Fulbright grantee to the University of Jordan in Amman. He got a doctorate where he wrote on U.S. policy and military decision-making in counterterrorism and counterinsurgency operations. He's been a drilling reservist since 1992, deployed overseas for various operations and training missions, and currently resides in Dallas-Fort Worth area with his family. This according at least to his bio that I'm assuming he provided to this podcast. Not this podcast, the podcast I was quoting from on Apple right there. So let's drill in a little bit more, because it's the reality is actually even more exciting. The reality of Zechariah Qureshi's father, Ahmed Qureshi, is actually a little more interesting than what we just looked at. Let's scroll down to his experience. This is Built. We'll come back to that in a moment. Here's his time in the United States Navy. He has a commissioned officer in the United States Navy for 26 years. We'll start at the bottom. Officer in training, deputy department head. He was an 01. This was up until 2002. At some point, he becomes an 02 here in 2002 to 2003. He becomes an 03 from 2003 to 2008. He becomes an 04 in 2008 to 2011. He's a advisor and regional subject matter expert here as an 04. He's a deputy analytic branch chief as an 04. He gets a promotion here to be a commanding officer as an 05. That's the Army equivalent of a lieutenant colonel in 05. That's a big boy job. It's what they call a commander. But that's a lieutenant colonel in the Army, the Air Force, or the Marines. But the Navy uses weird terminology. So that would be a commander. Then he's national staff officer as an 05. Then he becomes an 06. This is the equivalent of a full bird colonel in the other branches. He's a captain now. Captain is an 03 in the Army. It's a 06 in the Navy. So he's the commanding officer of the West Coast for 2 years, and now he's the commanding officer of the East Coast. So this guy is not just some schlub off the street. He worked at DynCorp for a little while in the Washington, D.C. area. DynCorp is a massive military contractor. We talked about the Harbinger Technologies and working and training military and law enforcement there. This is where he was international business manager, Middle East and North Africa for Papa John's. Prior to becoming a commissioned officer 26 years ago, he actually spent 8 years in the Army National Guard and the Army Reserves before that in Utah, Texas, and Kansas. In the meantime, he was an intern for a United States senator in the D.C. area on the Middle East Subcommittee on the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. And he did his Mormon mission in Canada. So that is Ahmed Qureshi. And he got a PhD, of course, overseas in London in Middle East and Mediterranean studies. And these are all his certificates here. Airborne course, all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know what all this means, but those are some things he got while he was there. So that's his dad. That's the dad of the guy who police radioed in and said he's going hospital to hospital looking for Charlie Kirk, and he might have a gun. Lest you think I'm done. You remember the company we mentioned, Built? Well, Built is a defense contractor. And I want to detail a little timeline with the defense contracts that they have received because it's an interesting timeline for me. But I want to make sure I have it pulled up correctly before I share it with you because I don't want you to see me squirreling it around over here. All right, here we go. Let me make sure I have it right. Yes. Here we go. So we'll start at the bottom. This is the company that Zechariah Qureshi's father works for. This is Built. I'm getting this directly off of USA Spending, right? USA Spending has all the federal expenditures that they can legally put up here or on here to contractors. This is Built. They get their first little contract is a $50,000 contract way back in 2019. 2019, they just get a little $50,000 contract. It's got a 3-month pop period of performance, just 3 months, $50,000, but it gets them going, right? They're off the ground running. Then they get this next contract here, and it's big, $3.1 million. This $3.1 million contract was all the way back in 2020. So after that, we're going to show you here the timeline just because it'll get you there. After 2020, we've got a series of contracts here that frankly just aren't that big. I mean, they're big. They're big for like a single family income, but if you're trying to run a business, they're not huge. We've got 185,000. We've got 49,000, but we get this big $3.1 million contract way back in 2020. And then we got just a series over the next few years of smaller contracts. Just a little 1 million, but again, nothing major, nothing crazy until this one. Boom, 4.9, 2.4. Well, when the hell were these contracts? When were these contracts? I'll tell you what, I'll be really suspicious if these contracts were in the planning phases of the Charlie Kirk event at Utah Valley University. I'll be really suspicious because we said the Utah Valley University event was probably beginning to be planned around June. The exiting of Charlie Kirk from this mortal plane, we estimated, based on our investigation, started around March or April and really heated up in June and July. So when were these massive $7.5 million worth of contracts on a company who had not had much more than one single contract of any value in the previous 4 or 5 years? When was this one? Let's look here. It's these, I'll make it the top 2 lines. Let's look together and see when these 2 contracts were. Up June 1 and June 16 of 2025. June 1 and June 16 of 2025. This is precisely when I estimated in my very earliest episodes I did on the Charlie Kirk investigation. This is exactly when I said the planning went up in earnest and the decision was made to remove him. And how did I decide that? Look at the Google Trends and when they really kicked up and started. It was June of 2025. Prior to that, you could find almost nothing. Prior to that, you could find almost nothing. But if you just look at these numbers in context, look at these 2 numbers, then you got this little one here. You've got $250,000, 200 and something thousand, $500,000, $750,000. But this is over years. You got this one little $1 million contract, and then it's 75, 49, 49, 185. And then again, you got to go back 6 years before you find another contract worth much more than $1 million. But you have back-to-back contracts in June of 2025 worth $7.5 million. That is a massive amount of money for a company that had not previously won those kind of contracts. A massive amount of money. If I do this, you won't be able to see it, but I wanted to. What was the biggest one for? These are SBIRs, small business research contracts for munitions. Look at those, 5 million and 2.5 million back to back in 2 weeks. Right as the planning gets underway. But Baron, are you saying definitively, you know for a solid gold fact that the Qureshi family was involved in taking out Charlie Kirk? No, I'm not saying that at all. Of course not. You didn't hear those words come out of my mouth. But Baron, why are you saying all this then if you're not making that leap? Well, because I don't make leaps. I don't draw conclusions. I give you facts. We generate investigatory tips so that the hundreds of thousands of people who will see this will begin looking into this. They'll begin looking into the Qureshi family. They'll begin looking into these contracts. They'll begin looking into Ahmed. They'll begin looking into Zechariah. Who is Zechariah's business partner? Lest you thought we were done with the investigation. Who is Zechariah's business partner? Not Zechariah. Who's Ahmed's business partner at Built? Well, this is Nate Henderson. Let me introduce you to Nate Henderson. You'll see here they both went to the Thunderbird School of Global Management at Arizona State University, both Ahmed and Nate Henderson. They both are founders of Built Technologies, or Built Incorporated. If you dig, you'll find I believe they met while serving overseas in Saudi Arabia on various jobs. Built it looks like it was spun off of SAP, the massive technology company. He also went to BYU. Why am I showing you this guy? Well, I think I've located his son, believe it or not. And this guy's son has an interesting LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure this is it. Let me say this is allegedly his son. And I'm 98% confident it's son, maybe even 99%. But I want you to see what this guy does for a living. Because it shocked me when I found it. It absolutely stunned me when we came across this. I'm almost confident this is the son of the guy who founded the business with Ahmed Qureshi. He is an ED scribe at Timpanogos Regional Hospital. The ED is the emergency department. A lot of us call that the emergency room. So he is an employee of the hospital where they took Charlie Kirk. He's an employee of the emergency room where they took Charlie Kirk. And he's a scribe. So the scribes are there as the doctors are doing things. The scribes are putting in the notes. That's what they do. But I want to go one step further. Does this guy look familiar to you? Does he look familiar to you? Like if you put sunglasses on him and a hat, does he look familiar? I mean, he kind of reminds me of somebody. I'm having trouble placing where I've seen this guy before. He kind of reminds me of somebody. He sort of, maybe, kind of, in some way, looks like perhaps this guy? Maybe a little bit. In some way, he kind of reminds me of this guy over here. Does he kind of look like that to you? I mean, I can't say for sure, but he kind of looks more like that guy than Charlie Kirk does. I mean, than Tyler Robinson does. And if you look at this one, he really starts looking like him, in my opinion. He looks a lot like him to me. I don't know. I'm not saying it's him. Again, I don't want anyone contacting this guy. He just kind of looks like that guy to me. As I kept going back and forth, I thought, man, where have I seen this guy before? Why does he look so familiar? Especially when you look at this one. See if I can show this one. Really looks like this guy on the right to me. Oh, I don't want to stay informed. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Oh, yeah. Doesn't he kind of look like that guy? I don't know, man. I think considering his dad is business partners with the guy whose son was going hospital to hospital looking for Charlie Kirk, I think perhaps at least needs to be considered. Needs to at least be considered, in my opinion. Especially considering he works at the hospital in the emergency department that they took him to. And remember, they drove past another hospital to go to that one. I think it needs to be considered. I think it at least needs to be considered. So are we done with the investigation into Zechariah Qureshi? No. Believe it or not, wait, there's more. I want to introduce you to Zechariah Qureshi's brother. His name is Zane. This is his Facebook page. This is Zane Qureshi's Facebook page. That is Farsi written there, I believe. He speaks Arabic and Farsi. Maybe it's Arabic. It's one or the other. Zane Qureshi speaks Arabic and Farsi. That's Zane. Zane is in the military. How do I know that? I looked him up. His LinkedIn page talks about it. It even gives his unit. We'll talk about that too. Zane went to BYU, Global Supply Chain Management, National Security and Middle East Language Studies, and a National Guard soldier. Well, what do you do in the National Guard? Oh, he's a specialist in the 19th SFMICOUTNG. Well, what the hell is that? The 19th Special Forces Operation Group. This is Zane. This is what he does. This is the other son. This is the brother of the guy who was on a police dispatch, allegedly going hospital to hospital looking for Charlie Kirk. May not have had a gun. Well, what do we know about the 19th Special Forces Group? They are a Green Beret group. That is a Green Beret group. The 19th Special Forces. One of two National Guard groups of the United States Army Special Forces. Only two in the country. This is one of them. The 19th group, as it's sometimes called, is designed to deploy and execute 9 doctrinal missions: unconventional warfare, foreign internal defense, direct action, counterinsurgency, special reconnaissance, counterterrorism, information operations, counterproliferation, weapon of mass destruction, and security force assistance. Security force assistance. That's interesting. This is a Green Beret Special Forces group. They talk about their history of deployment. And let me tell you, these are some bad dudes. I looked them up. I spent some time digging around. These are not pansies. These are some of the baddest dudes on the planet. You don't accidentally catwalk your way into that group. Nobody backdoored their way into that group. Nobody accidentally joined the 19th. Did we dismiss too quickly Zechariah Qureshi and the radio dispatch calls identifying him allegedly as someone going door to door, hospital to hospital, potentially with a weapon, looking for Charlie Kirk? Did we dismiss it a little too early? Did we dismiss it too quickly? Did we allow our Operation Mockingbird media to convince us that he had nothing to do with it? Oh, trust me, guys, we totally looked into this. He didn't have anything to do with it. I'm the local affiliate in Utah. We're good. Look the other way. Look that way. Go. Did we dismiss it too quickly? Have we gotten a satisfactory answer why his dad's company that had just sort of middled along for a long time all of a sudden gets $7.5 million in federal contracts a couple of weeks before this all kicks off? Did we dismiss a little too quickly the brother being a Green Beret? Did we dismiss a little too quickly his dad's business partner's son working at the emergency department where they took Charlie Kirk? In order to get to that one, they had to pass other hospitals that were more highly qualified. Did we dismiss all that too quickly? Did we dismiss too quickly that the guy looks just like the guy in the friggin' stairwell? I'm not saying it's him, but dang it if it doesn't look like him. And it makes a lot more sense to me that it would be someone else than it would make sense to me that Tyler Robinson drove to campus, drove away from campus, walked to campus, walked away from campus, changed clothes again, changed clothes again, drove to campus, walked away from campus. The timeline sucks. The Fed slop timeline you've been given absolutely sucks. It sucks. And it makes way more sense that other people were involved. Makes way more sense other people were involved. And if other people were involved, maybe. You know, my entire thesis is that there is a 0% chance Charlie Kirk was leaving Utah alive. 0% chance. It's why I have my theory of how many different ways they attacked him. I do believe there was electrification. I do believe there was some kind of an explosion under his shirt. There may or may not have even been a bullet. I don't know. There's some kind of wound to his arms. I'm just telling you, it's there. His neck was broken, probably by hands, is what it looks like to me, allegedly, in my opinion. If the doctor was right and his neck was broken from C1 to the T1, that wasn't a bullet. That's like 7 vertebrae. That's hands, boys. That's hands. And if all else fails, if the blast under his shirt doesn't take him out, if the electrification doesn't take him out, if whatever was done to his arm doesn't take him out, if he's somehow still alive on the ride and there's somebody fighting or hanging out of a car on the way there, as we talked about yesterday, I don't know what that was. I've not been given a satisfactory explanation for that either. Maybe you would want somebody to go hospital to hospital and take him out. Make sure the job is done. Or pick up the real weapon. Or cart away evidence. We don't know why he was there. But I tend to believe that police dispatches, which are done pretty instantaneously, I'll say. I tend to believe that those police dispatches are given for a reason. When they name a specific car a black Toyota Corolla with this license plate, I tend to believe that black Toyota Corolla with that license plate was spotted. It doesn't make sense to me that it's not spotted. Why else would you call it in? I tend to believe if a police dispatch says, hey, we got a guy going hospital to hospital looking for the victim. I tend to believe somebody told the police a guy came to the hospital looking for the victim. And then another hospital said somebody came to the hospital looking for the victim. And they go, oh my gosh, we got somebody going hospital to hospital looking for the victim. We need to track the guy down. What was he driving? Oh, he's in a Toyota Corolla. Oh, what was his license plate? Oh, that was his license plate? Well, comes back to this guy. Let's go pick him up. And I tend to believe when that guy who's going door to door, hospital to hospital, or is alleged to be doing that, when he's got a brother who's a Green Beret and a dad who's a military contractor who just got 2 really fat contracts out of nowhere, after years of just sort of piddling along at 50,000, 100,000, 300,000, and all of a sudden, boom, 7.5 million. Back to back, bang, bang, bang. I tend to believe it should be investigated. It should be noted. It should be discussed. It's not something that the local news should be like, we got it, guys, nothing to see here. I mean, it feels a little Baghdad Bob to me. I don't know, for you younger people may not remember Baghdad Bob. Baghdad Bob was Saddam Hussein's spokesperson in the first Gulf War, 1991. I'm old. I remember Baghdad Bob. I was 12. And they would like bomb everything on the street behind him, and he'd come out and be like, everything's good. They're not even here. They're not even here. Nobody's here. It sounds a little Baghdad Bob to me. And I don't know why we are so suspect of our government, as we should be. We are so suspect of the military-industrial complex, as we should be. We are so suspect of our intelligence agencies, as we should be. We are so suspect of our law enforcement agencies, as we should be. Any good people should be suspect of all the people governing them. We should make their lives hell. Not like hurting them. But I mean, they should have to fight for every vote. They should be scared to death they're going to get run out of office at all times. So they should bend to our will. I tend to believe that when we have all these facts that line up, this Built Incorporated gets all these contracts, their sons. One of them works at the emergency department where they took Charlie Kirk and looks a hell of a lot like the guy walking into the stairwell. Sorry, he does. I mean, he looks exactly like the guy walking into the stairwell. Sorry, he does. Oh, and by the way, the guy walking in the stairwell looks nothing like Tyler Robinson. Sorry, he doesn't. And it makes no sense that Tyler Robinson, he was coming in a maroon shirt. Then he was coming in a blue shirt. Then he was coming in a black shirt. Then he was driving. Then he was walking. Oh, he had a gun. It's totally in his pocket. He had a World War I model Mauser in his pants. I carry a weapon. You got to buy your pants a size up. That's to carry a compact pistol. Can you imagine what you would look like walking up a stairwell with a friggin' Mauser? I mean, it's insane. The fact that anyone is buying this story is absolutely ludicrous. It's beyond ludicrous. It's insane. It's nonsensical. It is impossible to believe. And here, staring at us in the face the entire time, are radio dispatches alerting us to this guy? And everybody's like, yeah. Who among us doesn't go door to door looking for victims with guns? Who among us? It doesn't make sense. It makes a lot more sense to me that there's some connection here. That makes a lot more sense to me. Everything we've talked about tonight, it makes a lot more sense to me. There's some connection there. I've got one more little piece tonight. I want to play one more little piece because it was shocking to me when I heard it. Actually, I didn't hear it. Daisy heard it. She caught it. And it was pretty fascinating. And it's going to take me a second to cue it up here because of the way these audio dispatches work. So give me just a second to cue this up. Oh, I'm very close. What time did it say? 11:55. Cool. All right. This dispatch took place at 4:50 p.m. 4:50 p.m. But in order to get you to the dispatch, I have to give you a gentle reminder. For those of you who've been paying attention to the Charlie Kirk investigation from the beginning, you remember that on the day after, or maybe 2 days after, the big bang in Orem, Utah, at UVU, news broke of an airplane that left that night with the tail number N888 Kilo Golf, N888 KG. And it was owned by a guy named, or it was owned by a company that was owned by a guy named Derek MAXFIELD, if you remember him. And what was notable about this plane was, I think it took off around 1900 UTC. So it'd be an hour or so after the Big Bang. But what was notable about the plane was it kind of inexplicably, and I was never given a satisfactory explanation for why. Everybody, again, just sort of moved on from it as if it didn't matter. It turned off its transponder, or it turned off, allegedly. Again, I don't know the whole story exactly. But there was some reason it drew everybody's attention. People were like, hey, wait a minute, planes aren't supposed to do that. And they're like, well, yeah, they can under certain circumstances. Maybe they don't usually, but, and it was almost like people were thinking, wait a minute, was this plane a getaway vehicle that turned off its location so that people didn't know where it landed? Didn't know where it went? Wait a minute. Is that what happened? So we're listening to audio yesterday, getting ready for this program. And it was a lot of audio to go through. Y'all, Daisy needs all the adulation you can give her. She has spent as much time listening to audio as anybody in America. But we're listening to all this audio, and she comes across a mention of a Toyota Camry. And that was notable to me because if you recall, Candace Owens said that there were some Toyota Camrys rented by the Egyptian crew who came in. And then we spotted 2 Toyota Camrys at Duncan Aviation on the satellite footage from that day next to the Egyptian plane. And so that seemed to verify what Candace Owens had said. Like, yeah, maybe there were Egyptians in Camrys running around town. Because Candace Owens had a tip from a person that worked at the rental car place that said a bunch of Egyptians came in and rented Camrys. And then we go look at the Egyptian plane in front of Duncan Aviation, and there are 2 Camrys, maybe 3. And so when the audio of a police dispatch comes up and it mentions a Camry, we think, that's interesting to me. Let's listen to it and see what it says. So let's listen to it together, ladies and gentlemen. We shall listen to it as a community. I don't want to say family. I don't want to be Erica. Well, let's do it as a community here. And let's see if we can figure out what they're saying relative to the Camry. And if we can't figure it out, I've got the transcript.
West Sam White Lane. Be on the north side of DOTERRA. There's a Toyota Camry that's parked on the side with its hazards on, but no one's inside. 28 Hotel 829 Charlie Hotel. It's been there for about an hour.
Okay, so I will read you what she said, because admittedly, we had to listen to it at least 75 times to figure out what she said. Sam White Lane was what she said initially. Sam White Lane. So there's a road near the campus, a few miles away, named Sam White Lane. I'll pull up the map. We can all look at it together and get an idea of where it goes. Oh, goodness. Where is it here? Sam White Lane. There we go. Found it. Take me to Sam White Lane. Take me to Sam White Lane. Why are you not taking me to Sam White Lane? There we go. Now we're going to Sam White Lane. All right, here we go. Is this it? Yeah. So let's go back to Sam White Lane. Here is Sam White Lane. And now I will read what she said now that we have Sam White Lane up. Sam White Lane, that's this road right here. See how it says Sam White Lane? Be on the north side of DOTERRA. That is the word that triggered in my mind, hey, wait a minute. Whoa. Maybe this Camry is connected. Sam White Lane on the north side of DOTERRA. There's a Toyota Camry that's parked on the side with its hazards on, but there's no one inside. Been there about an hour. In all the chaos that's taking place this day, if you tell me now, looking back with everything we know now, with Candace's tip about the Camry, with the satellite imagery about the Camrys, that I saw Camrys next to the Egyptian aircraft, Candace's tip that Egyptians rented Camrys. So we know their Camrys involved some way in town that day. Then we have the N888KG plane that mysteriously takes off not too terribly long after the Charlie Kirk Big Bang, mysteriously turns its location off, and it draws people's attention because of it, so we don't exactly know where it went. And now we got this other thing. What is DOTERRA? You guys know who owns DOTERRA? I'll show you. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Did he hide it? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'll spoil the surprise. It's Derek Maxfield, the guy who owns the N888KG. And do you know where DOTERRA is? Right there. That is DOTERRA. That giant building right there is DOTERRA. That is their operations. DOTERRA Product Center. It says it right there on the screen. DOTERRA Product Center. So now we have Derek Maxfield, in my opinion, back on the playing field. We have a Toyota Camry parked on the side of the road with his hazards on and no one there. No one in it. That's there for an hour. Right next to DOTERRA. And again, lest you think we're far away, that is Orem, Utah right there. I mean, we're just talking just up the road. Just up the road, we have right next to DOTERRA a Toyota Camry on the side of the road, empty for an hour. But Baron, does that mean someone drove from the Charlie Kirk event in a Toyota Camry that was rented by Egyptians and they drove to DOTERRA? Because DOTERRA is owned by Derek Maxfield, the guy who flew his plane away? Well, maybe. So here are your facts. Yes, I believe there were Camrys rented by Egyptians. I believe those Camrys were at the airport at one point because I think we saw Camrys there. And we saw the Egyptian plane right there. So someone was driving them. And they were there on the date of the Charlie Kirk Big Bang. And someone drove a Toyota Camry to DOTERRA and then left it on the side of the road with the hazards on for over an hour with no one in it. It's a weird thing to do to a car. Park a car on the side of a highway for an hour with the hazards on and no one in it. And then the owner of DOTERRA flew away in a plane that turned its location off and drew everyone's attention to it because of that. There's just a lot going on here. There's a lot of weird coincidences going on that day. And I'm telling you guys, when you start to put it all together, one or two coincidences, I go, yeah, sure, whatever. One or two coincidences. Maybe. You know, maybe this guy drives hospital to hospital looking for Charlie Kirk, or maybe there's just some coincidence and he's not really looking for Charlie Kirk, but multiple people at the hospital for some reason think he is and might think he has a gun, whatever. I mean, you hear just that and you're like, that's just one thing. Then you dig in a little bit and you say, hey, wait a minute. This guy's family's shady. His brother's in the special forces. His brother's a Green Beret. His dad has military contracts. His dad got massive military contracts right before this event. That's a little weird. His dad lied. I think his dad lied, in my opinion, about what he did afterwards. And then we got the camera. Well, maybe there's some just Egyptians in town because they're getting their plane serviced. Okay, well, and you know, if you're in town, you might as well rent a car. Okay, yeah, sure. If you're going to rent the car, they're going to be there next to the plane because I guess if you rent a car, you hang out by your plane that's being serviced all day. I don't know. I wouldn't. But I mean, you could explain that one fact away. You know, okay, maybe they just went by to see the plane, maybe, and just look at it that day. I don't know. And then you hear there's a Camry on the side of the road. Okay, so maybe somebody broke down. Maybe they had a flat tire. And they just happen to be driving a Camry. And you got to break down somewhere, so maybe you break down in front of the DOTERRA factory. Okay, yeah, I can explain that. Or maybe a guy just decided to go flying that day, and he just left an hour or two after the Charlie Kirk event, and for whatever reason, they turned the location off because that's what they're due. I mean, it's unusual, but they did it. Whatever. Like any one of these set of facts, you're like, yeah, okay, I can explain that away. But you start lining them up, bang, 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 bang. No, stop it. Maybe the guy's business partner has a son who just happens to work in the emergency department. Okay, yeah, one fact. I can explain that away. If that was the only fact that we'd cover tonight, yeah, that's weird. Or maybe the guy's business partner's son just happens to look a lot like the guy who was walking through the stairwell. I mean, stranger things have happened. We all have doppelgangers out there, right? Chris Pratt is mine. I'm kidding. I do not believe that. I was joking. I would love to be as handsome as Chris Pratt. We are the same age, though, and have similar colored hair. I think that's where the similarities stop. That was a joke from the members page because they said that he should play me in a movie. I disagree. But if you just take any one of these facts, okay, so he looks like the guy in the stairwell. Oh, so he works at the emergency department. That's one random fact. Oh, so they happen to get a military contract at that time. Big deal. Oh, so he happens to have a brother in the special forces who's a Green Beret. Oh, so they happen to have all this ties to Washington, D.C. political infrastructure. So what? I mean, again, any one of these facts, you go, eh. Oh, so they both happen to go to Arizona State University. But when you put it all together, one of two things is true. Either the Charlie Kirk event at Utah Valley University is one of the most coincidental, it was one of the largest collections of coincidences in the history of mankind, or there's more to it than we're being told. Maybe the local news, when they heard about this guy, maybe they didn't know these police recordings existed. I question their investigative prowess if they didn't know. If they didn't follow up and say, well, why did you arrest him? Oh, it was a mistake. I know it was a mistake, but why did you go to his apartment? What made you go there? Well, we had a tip. What did the tip say? Like, does you guys remember when someone said, well, what's your qualifications for being an investigative person on the internet? Why should I listen to you? I'm insanely curious. I surround myself with insanely curious people. It's one of the reasons Daisy's as good as she is at digging up information, and I've never come across anyone better. She's insanely curious. It's one of the reasons my email tip box gets some really good tips from time to time. Some of you are very curious people. And when you're curious, you hear a fact and you say, no. I'm not buying that this is a coincidence. Stop. Nope. Stop talking. Not a coincidence. I got to know more. And when you're insanely curious and you hear all these facts line up and you look at all these disparate pieces of information, they start to come together. They start to tell a little story. And that story comes together. And you start to think, is this a little bit like the opening statement, like father, like son? The dad maybe recruiting his boys. Maybe the dad gets an approach. We don't know what kind of financial situation his parents were in. Maybe the dad wanted a little $7.5 million cut from the federal treasury. Maybe. Maybe your conclusion is different from mine. Maybe the police's conclusion is different from mine. Maybe the FBI's conclusion is different than mine. Maybe a jury's conclusion will be different from mine. Maybe Tyler Robinson's defense team's conclusion will be different from mine. Maybe Tyler Robinson's conclusion will be different from mine. But I can't put all this out of my head. I cannot put all this out of my head, what we covered tonight. This has been a big week in this podcast history. Not in terms of numbers. We've had bigger weeks in numbers. I'm talking in terms of the power of the information we've been able to find, dig up, and bring to you guys. You guys can do one of two things with it. You can sit on it and say, well, that was entertaining. And go make a peanut butter sandwich. It's Lent. It's Ash Wednesday, so you can't eat meat. Go make you a peanut butter sandwich. I'm kidding about that, guys. Don't start a theological argument. It was a joke. Go make you a roast beef sandwich with extra roast beef. And you could just say, that was damned entertaining if I've ever heard entertaining. Wow. The Wildcats playing tonight. You could do that. Or you could be deeply disturbed by this, as I am. Deeply disturbed by all the audio we played yesterday, as I am. Deeply disturbed by the timeline of planes coming and going, like I am. And you can dig into it. You can start looking into it. You can help us out. And if you do find something, you can email realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. And you can say, I found this. Here's a connection you haven't made yet. I'll be happy to look at it. But this has been an unbelievable week in my mind. Sunday night, Monday night, we weren't able to go last night because we were still digging into all this audio and it was taking too long and it just would not have been a good show. I wanted to put it off a day, wanted to put a whole nother day, work day into it. I'd be stunned if these are just a series of coincidences. I'd be stunned if this is just a comedy of errors. I would be stunned. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Oh. All right, let me roll through some of your comments here. I'll start with the grumblers because you guys are amazing people over there. Connor Henderson actually left Timpanogos in August 2025. He did have knowledge of the ED, though. Yeah, so he did. He left in August of 2025. But he absolutely had knowledge, and he would have had contact with the staff in advance of that. Zach is on Facebook as Zach AQ, and is friends with Connor, both recently married and from Texas. That is correct. You are absolutely correct. Let me slide over here to the YouTubers. Poll each pod for hoodie color guesses instead of chat. No. We're not going to do that. Same day, new member and blocked on X by somebody. I can't read it. I don't know who that is. Oh, Paramount. Gary. Hi, Gary. You got any more text messages to accidentally show us, Gary? Ian Carroll, YouTube show on telepathy tapes 10 months ago, the telepathy tapes tinfoil, the big question everyone's afraid to ask. Thank you. That will help me. Because I do intend to look into that. I just have not had time this week. This week has been all timeline, all going back to the basics, blocking and tackling in the Charlie Kirk investigation. This is a good reprieve, a good breather, because Candace hasn't been on air all week breaking news stories. So it's allowed us to take a deep breather, go back in time and look at the basics. What did we overlook? What did we miss? And we're going to do that again tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be great. We're going to put all this together. All this together in a timeline, including when did Charlie's body get to the hospital? When did it leave the hospital? When did it leave? How did it get to Salt Lake City? When did it leave Salt Lake City? When was the autopsy done? Was there an autopsy done? We keep being told there's an autopsy done. Was there time to do an autopsy? Who signed what? We have all that. We now have all that. It's all buried in these dispatches. Baron, what do you make of the intense attacks on Candace? Every time I log on to X, it's the only post I see. Do you have any insight into it? Yeah, she's on vacation. These cowards did this last time she was on vacation. When she takes a week or two off, they launch into their attack because they don't think she's going to respond. Now, keep in mind, the attacks are largely coming from people I've never heard of, nor have you. I had to Google their names, many of them. But it's just cowardly behavior. It's like punching someone when they're not looking. Wait till they're on air. You can wait a week. Your attack is not going to get sour in a week. Just wait, hold it. Wait till Sunday night and then go. That way she's looking right at you and can come back. Or are you afraid to be punched by a petite woman? There's some of you big bad boys and beards and crazy hair. Are you afraid Candace is going to hurt you? You scared of her? If you're scared, get a dog. If you're a man, wait until she's on the air and then go. I attended Mass this morning, my first in almost 25 years. Thank you for the inspiration to get back to my Catholic faith. Well, thank you for sharing your journey with us. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. We encourage people get back to the basics, get back to the blocking and tackling of life. None of this matters. I mean, it matters in the sense that we want justice served here on this temporal plane, but it doesn't matter in the sense that 100,000 years from now, all this is going to be gone. Your soul won't be. Your soul's still going to be there. Where's it going to be? What are you going to be doing with it? Ash Wednesday is a great day to get back. Like I said, I had ashes. They weren't very stout, and they wore out over the course of the day. Could someone tech savvy please create a ringtone compilation of Baron and Tucker's Carlson's laughs? He's got a great laugh. He's got a great one. Thoughts on Tucker being detained in Israel? Weird. I don't know enough about it. I just saw the headline. It's weird. I don't even think he left the airport. I have no idea why they would detain him. Just very weird to me. Very weird to me. I was getting a haircut yesterday. Debuted the haircut on the members chat last night. Hi, Baron. Wanted to suggest some high IQ news channel to listen to when it comes to geopolitics. Alex Christoforou and Alexander Mercury together form the Duran, or world class, just like you. Go Max. Shout out from, is this Sweden? Thank you. I appreciate that. And if I could pronounce their names, they would have done a better job. Hit the like button, slackers. Where are we on that? You slackers. It's not me saying it. That's Finona saying it. We're only at 8,900 likes. 26,000 people and only 8,900 likes. That is slacker behavior if I've ever seen it. I went to Mass Day for the first time in 30 years. Extreme thanks to you and Candace for motivation. Guys, getting back to church. This is great. This is great news. This is great news. The United States needs more people in pews. Period. End of story. And I don't know if you're United States. You sit in U.S. currency, so I assume you are. Trouble with typing super chats. Maybe to do with YouTube on phone versus PC. Just copy and paste. Impossible otherwise. I gave that same advice to somebody yesterday. I said, just text yourself and then copy and paste it out of your text. That's what I do. During Mass today, I was sitting there and all I heard was you saying, always remember, Jesus loves you. Monday show was crazy excited for tonight. Christ is King. Were these before? Am I reading? Yeah, 507. Okay, we were just getting going. First super chat. Nice haircut. Thank you. Will you do a member show on the Oklahoma City? Boom. Okie here. Want your take? Christ is King. Go Max. I will, but it'll just be a recap of other people's investigations. But I'm fascinated with it. I think it's another operation similar to the one we're investigating now. I think there's a whole lot more to it than the one guy they pinned it on, or the two guys they pinned it on. King B. Coleman? King? I accept. Coach can be my crown prince. I would say Candace could be the queen, but Mrs. Coleman might get upset with that decision. We'll find a good spot for her. She'll be the prime minister. I accept. Thanks for your service. We are grateful for the queen. You made her the queen. And tonight's, let's not forget to look through the smoke. Keep your eye on the ball. Why are we done so much here? Invasion on Iran with our people. Be safe. I hope not. I hope there's no invasion. I'm not a fan of war. I don't know if you picked up on that watching this program. Frickin' Ron. After the birth of my daughter, I gave my wife a spa day. What did you give your wife after your 8th child? A yacht? No, we were poor. Is there at least a statue in her honor? Keep on keeping on. What did I give? Thanks for making me look bad, by the way. Stefano. Last comment of yours I'll ever pull up. I'm going to give her something tonight. I'm kidding. I don't know, man. We just live. Maybe you shouldn't admit this. I didn't even take days off of work when I had kids. I took like a half a day off total my first 5 kids. What about, she's in the hospital. What am I going to do? I got to work. But I've always had jobs where if I'm not working, there's no money coming in the door. And so it's one of those. Agree we should go over old shows. I noticed Adam Bartholomew's son was wearing purple. He was wearing maroon, and it was a very specific maroon shirt. It was not a normal maroon shirt. It had 3 buttons at the top. It was a Henley. It was very similar to a maroon shirt that Tyler Robinson had been spotted in, and he was wearing a black hat. It was not just a maroon shirt. A coincidence? Also, so many red herrings to muddy waters. Yes. So Erica started sharing on her platform again, Ephesians 2:8-9 on the same day, same exact time that the article came out about witches. Is Ephesians 2:8-9 about witches? Going to the big Bible. Is it about witches? You've intrigued me with the witch story. Candace is all over that witch story, by the way. She's going to solve it. 2:8-9. Oh, wait a minute. When did she share that? Because somebody in my members chat shared that yesterday and we read it out loud. I think it was the only scripture we read yesterday on the members chat. Did she share that today or yesterday after the show? Because that's Andrew Colvette saying he's watching. Because Erica didn't share that. I'm telling you, I got inside intel from inside of TPUSA that Andrew Colvette was the one always posting all of the I don't see Erica Kirk on Twitter. Maybe I'm blocked. I've never talked to her. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. But that's weird because we covered that scripture yesterday. Someone yesterday wrote that to me. Said, what do you think of this or something? I don't remember how it came up. That's crazy. Hey, Andrew, if you need help, post Genesis 6:6. Erica doesn't know what that is. She won't know. She won't look at it. Post Genesis 6:6, Andrew. I'll know, and I will fly to Santa Barbara. I'll take a private plane. No, I won't because I can't afford one. But I know you like to fly private. I will have you take a private plane. You rent the private plane, and we'll fly back together, and I will keep you safe. Genesis 6:6, Andrew. That's the script. That's the scripture. I want to make sure I got the right one. If you post that, I'll know that you're watching and you need help. Yep, that's the one. Candace mentioned early on that Charlie Kirk was obsessed with planes. I think you were right on the right track. Thank you for putting so much effort into this. The answer may be in the planes. Christ is king indeed. Keep going, Max. We will do that, Jess. Thank you. I think you're right. I think the planes are. I think that charter flight from Provo to Santa Barbara to Scottsdale is the key to where everyone was when this happened. Hey, Baron. Charlie was killed because he was in the way of a plan set in motion long ago. He should be here. It's all because our kids were listening. God bless you for caring. Hard work pays off. Keep the max. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? But I will keep going, man. Thank you. Coach said I was 67. Oh, we're going to have words. Oh, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. Coach doesn't even work out. I don't know why he calls himself coach. All that AD Fleet stuff, he pays AD Fleet to make him look buff. It's not real. That's why he wears such big hoodies. You can't see the lack of bicep muscles. That's what's going on in there. So that if he's going to say I'm 67, Baron, 3 months ago, Scott Kesterson, Bards of War podcast, said the inner circle talk was that Charlie Kirk had found out he was not the father of his son and filing for divorce. Any truth to that or your thoughts? Love you and your show. First I've heard of it. How did he find that? Did he link to something? Did he put something up? Did he quote somebody? Thank you for that generous donation, by the way. If you interview George, tell him that his name is quintessentially agricultural. Because he said my name was quintessentially British. That's fantastic. I great comeback. I was the first to suggest a hold please mug, and hearing that you're making it feels like my brush with fame. Oh, I might put Heather of the Shire on the bottom of it. Clip that. I might put Heather of the Shire on the bottom of it. That way everyone will know where it came from. Going back to the beginning gives people like me that didn't get involved until 9:20 a chance to see what we missed and see what we can help discover. Very exciting. Yeah, we're going back. We're blocking and tackling. We're going to do a nice little block and tackle session tomorrow. We might have to go Friday too. What is the name of the road they took to the hospital? Wolverine Way. And 50 South 1200 West from police calls seem not in the right direction. Love your show, Baron. Go Max. That's a good catch. Let me look that up. Is that true? Is this true? 50 South 1200 West. 50 South 1200 West. 1200 West. West, not 2. West. Orem, Utah. All right, let's look it up. Where is it? Oh, that's Wolverine Way. South 1200 West is Wolverine Way. It becomes South 1200 West. So it's correct. Sorry. Didn't mean to burst your bubble, but There's danger in turning everything into religion or supernatural. When responsibility leaves your hands for higher powers, you become easier to manipulate. It's not what they believe. It's what we believe about them. They're just people. I'm not 100% sure what you're saying, but I do think people ultimately are held responsible for their actions, if that's what you're saying. But I also believe there is a supernatural component to a lot of things that people are doing. So, I don't know. I'd have to really think about that, how I'd run the Tyler Robinson defense. I honestly don't know. Lori made a FOIA request in 2006 for a bill passed into law. It's H.R. 2360, Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Act 2006. Section 538 was about an earmark for $40 million to pilot tech companies. Why did she do a FOIA request for a law? You just look it up. Or maybe I misunderstood that. Thank you. I'll look into that. The Firmament Blue hoodie. Another person who was on the members chat last night, apparently, is so much easier on the eyes than the silly putty hoodie. You are loved not only by your listeners, but also by our Father, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yes. It's not silly putty. But that is another color description of the famed raw hamburger meat colored hoodie. Hit the thumbs up or Erica's going to send you inappropriate Finding Nemo memes. You guys kill me. New jury member. I want to make you a sun catcher. My work is exceptional. What are your two favorite colors? Do you prefer white and gold colored metal? I don't, what's a sun catcher? That's not like some kind of weird, demonic. Oh, no, those are beautiful. My two favorite colors? Green. Probably blue and green. Isn't that pretty boring though? I wish it was a cooler color. Probably blue and green. And probably a white colored material. Probably. Baron, and thank you, by the way, for thinking of me. That's wonderful. Thank you. Baron, it's easy to see you care about giving us quality content. It's easy to see that you put in the time and hard work to make our experience better each time. Love your openings. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know how long I had to search to find an opening that made sense today? It was hard. Hi, Baron. I'm a new member of the grand jury. This is my first super chat ever. Love the show. Today's my 46th birthday. Welcome to the 46 Club. I've been here for a couple months. It's nice. Keep up the amazing research. It's pronounced Knifed Cat. Oh, Naiad Cat. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that because I would have never guessed. Wishing you and your family a blessed Ash Wednesday, Baron. For some reason, we celebrate it in Iceland by letting our kids dress up in costumes, walk from store to store, and sing for candy. That sounds like Halloween. You got your holidays backwards. But I'm okay with that because you have Northern Lights. So you know, give and take. Bitter with the sweet. You have a blessed Lent as well. Thank you. It was nice meeting Mrs. Coleman yesterday. Yes, she made a surprise appearance on the members show. You must go to the same Catholic church I do here in Tennessee because my ashes disappeared also. I don't blame the lady distributing the ashes today. The priest, when he was hitting it with the water, didn't get a good dose in her cup. And so it was just powder. It like went down my nose and tickled me while she was doing it. I was like, oh, that's not going to last. Then I looked at my kids when they sat down and I was like, oop. But he tried. No shame to the priest. A few shows ago, you mentioned Brian Harpole had been set up. Care to share with the class? Go Max. Did I mention that he'd been set up? I have to go back and watch that. Please say you read the Qureshi emails I sent you. I've researched so much on this aspect. I don't know when you sent them. I did search the name. A lot of times I'll do this before I go with a story just to see if anybody had sent me any tips on it. After I did that, Daisy can attest to this because I sent her a screen cap from one of the emails I got. I don't know if it's yours or not, but there were 2 or 3 people who emailed me about it. But just like 2 or 3 months ago, 1 or 2 times, and for whatever reason it just didn't draw my attention at the time. But I probably saw it because there weren't many. Speaking of floods, do you have thoughts on the Kerrville, Texas floods? July 4th last year, I lost my mom and stepdad to that flood. Holy mackerel. Biblical or weather manipulation? I have so many thoughts both ways. So was that the flood that took out all the little girls at the camp? Because that was tragic. I don't know what that was. I mean, rivers flood, creeks flood. I mean, it happens. But we also know they manipulate the weather. So I don't know how to read that. I didn't look into it too much, but I'm terribly sorry you lost your mom and your stepdad. That's horrific. That's horrific. Horrific. Fellow millennials, the kids are watching. Self-censorship and inaction become the normal. They're normal. Talking isn't action. How do we handle today's issues will be their standard. Yeah, we have to self-censor, though, or the platform shut us down. So it's just part of it. A Baron, phenomenal show as always. Well, thank you. Apologies for being off topic, but what's your take on their greatest ally detaining Tucker? Do you think they tried to set a hit trap? Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I doubt they were trying to take him out, but I don't know. I've only read the headlines. I have not dug in. Today was spent on this program, as was all yesterday spent on this program, today's show. I mean, it took a long time to set this show up. And so I have not had a chance to dig into it. I will tonight. Leaving in an hour for Bible study. Edge. So I'm gifting early as a thank you and promise to catch up later tonight. I look forward to it. I'm sure it will be worth the wait. Hey, Mama C. Oh, Mama C. I don't mind. I don't hate that. I've never heard her called that, but I don't hate it. After seeing your "Is this a Dodge Challenger" under a car cover post on X, I was folded at the adverts on that article for being car covers. Yeah, I don't think that was it, but it could be. It's the only possibility I've seen yet in town, and I just don't know. I don't know. Check out Zen's dad. Okay. Bobby or Robert Zen, clip that. It bought you here to talk about the guy in the front row that was cheering and high-fiving after CK shot. The guy nobody bothers looking into. I've looked into him, and I had a whole show prepared on him and then didn't do it. So I could go back to that and do that show at some point. Maybe that'd be good since we're going back to blocking and tackling. Maybe I'll mention that tomorrow. I did look into him. I did quite a deep dive on him. But then it just didn't seem like it was show worthy. And that happens a lot. I'll waste 10, 20, 30 hours on something. And then I'll go, not a story here. But I'll go back and look at it. Ivan. Hey, Baron. Sorry I missed the OJ intro. I met Nicole and OJ many, many years ago in Acapulco. Typical Orenthal. What up, Baronets? Best mods ever. May God grant us all a holy Lent. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. That reminds me of Dave Chappelle's bit about the third time he met O.J. Simpson, the 3 times he met O.J. Simpson. He was fantastic. That was a great special. I don't know if you've seen it. Was that the guy with the backpack, prosthetic hand, wearing the glove and rifle sticking out of the backpack? I don't think so. I'm pretty confident it wasn't, but I'll go back and look because now that you say that, I didn't draw on that connection. But now that you say that, I need to go back and look at it. Good evening, B, everyone. Thank you. Good evening. What happened to your hair? It was great. It's still great. It's still great. There's just less of it. Nothing happened on the top. I told her, don't touch anything up here. Actually, I asked her opinion, and she told me nothing up there. So I said, don't touch anything up here if you can. Or do you think I should? She said, no. Let's let it grow. Let's just take these sides up a little bit. And that's all that happened. Just took the sides up a little bit. La Quinta is on University Parkway, isn't it? Yeah, I drew that connection while we were talking today. I don't know why I didn't mention it on air, but yeah, it's where his car was spotted was directly across from the La Quinta. No doubt about that. Pam says hi. Hi, Pam. Still wants to know what kind of dog you have. I think it's a Feist. If you look up brown Feist on Google Images, well, she's a little bigger than a brown Feist. Let me look up Carolina dogs. I've heard that as well. I think this may be it. Yeah, it's more like this. She kind of looks like this. I could have someone bring her in here and introduce you to her. I've done that before. If you guys are watching, will you bring Tilly in here? She kind of looks like this. She looks a lot like that. I mean, that could be my dog. She is the greatest dog there ever was. She's just perfect. She's just perfect. Oh, actually, don't bring her in because I've got something sitting in front of the door. So don't open the door. Or knock and I'll come get her. Hi, Pam. 2 thoughts. 1, could the black pieces found under the SUV be from a broken window? No. Shattered while someone hung out of it? I don't think so because there was no mention of a broken window, and that's an easy thing to mention. They would have mentioned that. Isn't there a video of someone at the event hours after it ended? I don't know. Clip that. That's a good one. We'll find out. I can't help but think, one, witch's curse was an excuse for priest. Reality is Erica knew it was CK's last day on earth and had priest pray over him. It's your opinion. Blamed it on Etsy curse. I don't know if I'm ready to dig into that story. I have a very, very strong opinion on that, but I don't know if I'm ready to dig in on it yet. I do think that's suspect and shady, and I think it could potentially be related. Clock Tower X in the news again. AI agents text messaging Americans and surveying their thoughts on our greatest friend, but possibly not disclosing as required. Do text messages have to have a disclaimer? I don't think they do. Particularly if there's a link. I don't think they do. But I could be wrong about that. Thank you for that generous donation, though. When they come knocking on my front door and want to know something, I don't answer questions, is how I respond to each question. Best advice. Are you talking about the police? How often do the police show up asking questions? Because this is a problem. Now, you're a member of the jury, so I care for you. And you're a member. You're a member of the grand jury, so I really care about you. I want to know how often the police are knocking that you have a plan in place and you deploy it. I mean, you sound like when they come, not if they come. This will be my plan. When they come, like every time they come, this is what I do. What are you doing? What are you into? What hospitals are you going to looking for victims? Love your hair. I bet Mrs. Coleman laughs all day. Mrs. Coleman, did you hear that? They think I'm funny. Mrs. Coleman has had 25 years of her fill of my personality. Some of you may get tired of it over time. I'm not saying she did. I'm just messing around. It's all in jest. I wouldn't say it if I meant it. If Charlie thought he was going to die, then I would expect him to kiss his wife goodbye. He had to have been really mad with her. Hi, Baron. How long do you think the relationship between Graham Allen and the grieving widow lasts? Is he one of the? Is that? And I don't know this. Is that one of the people that is attacking Candace on behalf of the grieving widow right now? You know what strikes me as odd about that? I watched that video, or I watched like a 2-minute clip. What strikes me as odd about his line of attack is that every black widow in America, meaning every woman who's killed her husband and faked grieving afterwards, would be off limits from criticism, according to Mr. Allen's video that I saw. Like, how can you attack this woman? She's a grieving widow. You're attacking her kids. Whoa, no one's attacking the kids. I've never heard anybody say anything about the kids. So that's dumb. Anytime someone goes there, you know they're a dishonest actor. But they're also a dishonest actor if they say you're not allowed to criticize Erica. Her husband's dead. The wife is always the first suspect. So that's a ridiculous line of attack. What is that? What is that? Spotted something on a map that looked out of place. So yeah, I don't know. Good evening, Baron. Love your show. Wish I could go to Orem soon and see everything with your own peepers. Wish you could go to Orem, see my own 2 peepers. It would be worth the geofencing. I wouldn't take my phone. I hope you know that. Nor my laptop. I would take special. I would take a pay by cash phone or something. I'm gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna wait on it to warm up a little bit, but I am gonna go. I got to get on the ground. I got to walk some of these streets, look at the houses, go the places where I think are related, the Dairy Queen, the cemetery, the insurance building you guys pointed out yesterday, now the doTERRA headquarters, going to run by the airport. There's a lot of this stuff I want to see. Obviously the courtyard, obviously the Losi Center, obviously the computer science building behind it, the chicken coop. I will not go on private property, but the chicken coop, I want to take a good look at that area. I just want to look at it myself. I just want to look at the whole area. Just take it in. I'll take a lot of video. I'll post it. We'll have a good time with it. But might even do a show live from out there if I can get a steady signal. My father-in-law was in the ICU at the Utah Valley Hospital on 9/10. Mother-in-law texted that the hospital was on lockdown at 1:22 p.m. We assume Charlie Kirk was there. Still never found out why. Maybe related, maybe not. Oh, it was related. The dispatch tells you it was related because they talked about, is the hospital still shut down? So apparently it was shut down. That's crazy. That's crazy. Cool story, bro. And I mean it. I love how you look at your wife still after so many years of marriage. So sweet. Nice to meet Mrs. Coleman. Barron has the best show on YouTube. Go Max, Christ is King. I did look up at her, but proud of her. I'm glad she got on the camera. I was kind of concerned she wasn't going to. I don't think the IDF got him. Hey, Mrs. Coleman, hope you found your Bluetooth bug. I have been stuck on the exploding mic theory. Brian Kalu of Knoxville, Tennessee. Oh, hello, Mr. Coleman. I thought you were still talking to Mrs. Coleman. Brian Kalu of Knoxville, Tennessee has been doing tests. I hope to recreate an adequate device soon. Oh, that's interesting. I'd like to see that. John Bray has been doing some testing as well. Thank you, Mitch, for checking in. That's the real Mitch Snow, by the way. I know that because he said something that no one else knows. If there's two things I can't stand in the world, it's people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch. Thank you, Nostra Dumb Heine, for checking in. Goes across U.S. campuses and activist networks. Strategic initiative targeting anti-Semitism. Talking about Heritage Foundation, Project Esther. Yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting. The Heritage connection was interesting to me. No, Zechariah could not be the same guy because that guy apparently was in a white van. The tips about Zechariah was that he was in a black Corolla. Hi from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. The country is indeed totally compromised. See, I don't just say stuff, people. It's like a Cold War Berlin here. Love your work, brother. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Sorry you live in a police state. Check out Mountain Meadows Massacre. LDS killed our own. Just got out of class. I'm 45 minutes behind, but it's wild to hear you talk about Oregon State while I'm literally at OSU. This is a high IQ outfit. Yes, we're big on OSU's campus. We're big into beavers. Sorry, I had to say it. The Oregon State is the beavers. Your former basketball coach, Craig Robinson, the brother of one Big Mike, just became a member. You're so thorough and amazing. Thank you for all you do. I'm an hour east from you in Cookville. I am in it for the long haul. Cookville's great. Have you been to CrossFit Mayhem in Cookville? It's like the mecca of CrossFit. Whoa, Baron, the Mormon Mafia are called Danites. It's known. What is the connection there? Did I say something about Danites? Has anyone compared the jump off the roof video to the satellite pics to see if the cars are the same? Wondering if jump was recorded before or after. They're the same. I looked. The reality is if you go against America first, we lose. You need to stand together because midterms will screw us. You will lose your freedom of speech and money. Just us together. Well, it seems like we're losing it anyway, doesn't it? Like, you think we're going to keep our freedom of speech and money if we go to war again with Iran? Is he the same guy that was arrested in one of the pics with a rifle and a suppressor? I don't think so. I think that was a different guy, and he was in a Honda, not a Corolla. I don't think it's the same guy. Qureshi has those dark eyes. Oh, those eyes. You talking about the Mortal Kombat eyes? We know what she's talking about. Hey, B, love the show. Why did LDS build the Granite Mountains Records Vault? 1965, Utah, to preserve all American family history. Who gave them that permission? Why? Why not another church? I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with it, but I mean, if they own the land, who can stop them from building a vault? And if they request the stuff legally, who can stop them? I don't know. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. That's good advice for jump roping during a workout. 2 ropes is 1 rope. 1 rope is no rope. Could Qureshi be the backup Patsy or maybe more be involved? Yeah, that's precisely where we're going here. I think it's a bigger operation than we even knew. Okay, so Sam Worthington must play time the amazing Baron in the movie. Who is Sam Worthington? I don't know him. He's Australian. He does kind of look like me. No, not that. Now that I've opened it up, he doesn't. He's way more handsome than I am. He was a stud. Talking about this guy looks like a supermodel. No, sorry. Next. You failed the audition, man. You showed up with too strong of a face. Get uglier and come back. Zechariah's father living in the Dallas area. Could this be the flight to Texas we're all trying to figure out? Could be. Could be. May I make a suggestion? Of course. Where the on-air sign is at, you need an aquarium instead. Fish are calming, classy, and fun to watch. You know how hard it is for me to keep myself, my wife, my 8 children, and my dog alive? You think I'm going to add fish to that mix? It's like juggling flaming swords in this house. We don't need anything else alive. I can't even keep a plant alive. So you're telling us the FBI got wind of the fact the police were hunting down Zechariah, so FBI went to his apartment to make sure he wasn't arrested. I mean, the facts sort of look like that. Don't they, Adriana? I don't draw conclusions. I'm not a conclusion drawer. But I don't dislike your theory. I don't. Yeah, I can get an interview with Tucker whenever I want. Yeah, I just hadn't done it yet, guys. And, you know, he's just constantly calling me. But bam, when are you going to interview me? When are you going to interview me? I have to duck out right in the middle of Qureshi. I'll be back. Okay, we'll be here. Someone asked why Utah, because LDS are close-knit, tight group that can keep secrets, and money speaks to the church. Former Utahn. Love the show. Former Catholic considering giving another look because of you. Yeah. I mean, well, thank you first for that last comment there. I don't know why Utah, but everybody keeps saying that, and tonight's show kind of made me wonder if there's not something to that. Likely Charlie was also an intel asset, but when he went off the reservation regarding Philadelphia, he had to be neutralized, and that's why he was so sure they were going to neutralize him. I've heard that theory posited, and I'm not sure quite what to make of it. Did the dad of the guy have any time spent in China Lake Naval Air Weapons Station? If so, that could be looked into. The base has tunnels and a history of busts for trafficking, etc. I didn't see any, no. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't look at his whole transcript. I just looked at what he put on LinkedIn. Mormons, trained to ask no questions. Leadership out your head down. Do what you're told. Obedience brings future rewards. I'm an ex-Mo. I'll take your word for it because I'm not. First super chat ever. You think Candace, Coach, and Ian are onto something here. Love the show. God bless. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thanks for joining the super chat parade. Do you think Mitch Snow might recognize Lieutenant Colonel Ahmed Qureshi from Fort Huachuca? Ask him. He's in the chat. Mitch, do you recognize him? And he's not a lieutenant colonel. He's an 06. He's the equivalent of a colonel. Just in the Navy, not the Army. The better question is, do you recognize Zechariah or Zane, his brother? Did you get your ashes? I did. They just, like we talked about earlier, they didn't stay. Once again, my head's about to explode. Please don't let it explode. That'd get so messy. Honestly, how many dummies are involved in this? We're trying to figure that out. Oh my goodness, this is interesting. Learned Erica was supposed to speak tomorrow at a private school in Dallas, but parents complained and the men had a meeting, decided to cancel. What? What? Are you serious? Are you serious? Clip that. That is great. Am I saying all Mormons look like? No. I'm not an anti-Mormite. When people were trying to say Tyler Robinson was at Erica's New Year party, that guy actually looks like Connor. He does. Qureshi's dad is TPUSA. Please read emails from Moonpost. Per Qureshi and subject, have tried to tell you and Candace much info, but can't get response. That's because I get too many emails. Qureshi's dad is TPUSA. Please read emails from Moonpost. I'll try to find that. When was the scribe hired at the hospital? Within the 3 to 6 months leading up to the Big Bang, just like everyone else in this case? We can look that up. What was his name? Connor Henderson? We'll look. I've got it. Right here. Calm down, people. Calm down. April of 2024. He looks like the guy in the pic with PL cousin goth guy. He does, kind of, doesn't he? He does. Let me go back and look at that pic. I don't ever have 3 hours of spare time, but somehow I do for you. Thank you for your hard work and for keeping God in the loop. Hey, this is not a waste of your time. But Baron, I have a pic of the guy in the stairwell, hat, sunglasses, when he was in a heated debate with Charlie on campus. Not hospital guy. I've seen that. I don't think it's him. Edification at its finest. You have hit the nail hard about Utah and Mormons recruits. In my LG fam, we have 3 with significant intel roles. My father was president like Code Bird and find out more songs he has passed. I have one you might like to speak with. Boy, there's a lot there. Email me, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for that generous contribution, UT Graham Shar 10. Non-believer scientists who try and prove Christ isn't real and later become Christians is not much different than this investigation. The more we find, the more it's proving we're onto something. We're onto something, guys. We're onto something. The official story is nonsensical. Watched an interview with former Satanists who said they were told by other Satanists they commonly proclaim they are Mormon and go to their churches. Pepperoni, sausage, bacon. What kind of pizza toppings would Papa John sell in Arabic Muslim countries? Do they offer mutton topping? I mean, they got cheese. They've got veggies. Are they? I suppose if the meat was, I don't know the rules. Granted, I'm a novice when it comes to the dietary restrictions. But I think if the meat is somehow certified as processed a certain way, that would be an acceptable topping. I'm not exactly sure. This is really modern day JFK situation investigation, regardless of what the public says. Y'all might actually figure this out and prove because we all know who then public unalivings. Yeah, maybe. Feel like I'm on a ShamWow commercial. But wait, there's more. You know that guy's running for Congress? Or he's running for some office. The ShamWow guy. I'll prove it. Actually, I don't have time to prove it. 2.5 hours in already. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. I saw a political campaign ad somebody sent me. ShamWow guy, Congress. Yeah, it's Congress. And he still kind of looks like himself. Yeah, this is him. An official commercial. Check this out. The ShamWow guy. Now, you young people may not recognize this, but us gray hairs, we know. Look at this.
Hey, it's Vince. I'm running for Congress against this guy. Stop having a politician that's worse than Biden.
For discretionary funding.
Instead,
apparently he's running after that guy. So yeah, ShamWow guy running for Congress. As wild as that is. But wait, there's more. Stairwell guy is definitely pooping his pants right about now. Hope you're watching, Stair guy. Hope you're watching with wet wipes. Please, this information is amazing, but it's very scary. Hearing all the dots connected makes me worry for you and your fam. Please stay safe and aware. We do our best. Here at Club Coleman. James 4:17 has been on my heart lately. Sin is not only doing wrong, but failing to act when we know what is right. We are accountable to respond to injustice. Faithfulness requires action, not silence. Grateful for your work. Prayers from your fellow peasants in East Texas. Thank you to Rocky Roads for that very generous contribution. Let's see if we can find James on the fly. Or am I going to have to go to the table of contents? James found him. What did you say? James 4:17. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever knows what is right and fails to do it, for him it is sin. I got to go to confession. I got a little more confession to add, Padre. Oh, thank you. According to AI, EK serves on the leadership board for Bill. No, I don't buy that for a second. Scratch. Stop. That can't be true. That's a lie. Someone's saying that. I refuse to believe it. That there's no way that's true. I just refuse. I see no evidence of it on first glance. I see no evidence of it on second glance. I just cannot. That would be the end of it for me. Like that, I'm going to spend a second here because this would be the end of it. Does Erica Kirk have any connection to Built Inc.? If so, provide link. We'll find out. GPT wouldn't lead us astray, would it? No, there does not appear to be any connection between Erica Kirk and Built Inc. No, not Built Rewards. Built Inc. I'll have to look into that. Baron Zane got home from his mission on August 25th. That's the date of the Sam 000 flight into Colorado Springs. That's the day, or the day after maybe, that Brian Harpole said they started planning the event. I recall neighbors of TR and LT saying in the days leading up to the Big Bang, there were a lot of new cars at their house. Was there ever footage as thinking those vehicles may show up on your aerial search? No, I have not seen footage. So were any of the people mentioned tonight show up in the Google Trends? Yes. The Department of Public Safety Commissioner did. Bo Mason. Significantly. If he was privy and part of the op, wouldn't he be able to track the car, follow them instead of visiting random hospitals? We don't know what his role was. We don't know what his role was. A Baron Killer episode. Oh, let's be careful with that word. I don't want to call it an episode. How about a show? No, I'm just kidding. As a designer, BM Knoxville Gray is the green color for your walls. What's your thoughts on EK's Insta post? Super manipulative. I'm getting CIA vibes. If it's the Ephesians 2, 8, and 9 post, when we just covered that scripture yesterday on the members chat, are you out of your mind? That's Andrew watching and telling us. That's exactly what that is. Because you remember a few shows ago, I said, that's not her posting, that's Andrew posting. Or it's just a coincidence. Hi, Andrew. Genesis 6:6, Andrew. I want to see it. Let me look up here. BM Knoxville Gray. Not green enough. Looks depressing. It's drab. And you can't see it, but my sound panels are that same color. They're kind of BM Knoxville. And BM, is this like bowel movement? Bowel movement? Really? No. I need to get security referrals from Candace because you're getting close to this being solved. Well, did I do a Google trend search on the Qureshis? No. And it takes me a long time to do it. Okay, because there's a 9-step process I follow to rule out noise. I go different years, I do different times, and then I do those same times across different years. But I'll do a quick one. Zechariah Ahmed Qureshi. I spelled it wrong. Zechariah with an H. Ahmed Qureshi. Let's see here. What time frame do we want to use? Let's use a custom time frame of 03/01/2025 to 09/01/2025. Let's do that one and see what happens. Interesting. There's a significant hit the last week of August. Hold on, I did 2024. Let me do 25. See if that stays. This is interesting. I will do this. This is fun to me. We'll do it across our season, our greatest ally, because they might, sometimes they search it. No, not getting any hit. So there's your answer. Resolved. Yeah. Baron Holmes. Oh, you're talking about Sherlock, not John. Okay. I was very confused. Interesting. Dispatcher stating an individual is going from hospital to hospital, possibly armed. Were there 911 calls? I don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. Was that police sightings? Was that the hospital? I'm not sure. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Yeah. People keep forgetting if they can get to a president, actors, international musicians, CK, etc., then they can get any one of us, and no one would ever know. Stay strapped or get clapped. You saying we're going to get the clap? Your tinfoil hat's all tingly. Baron, you never cease to amaze me. Much love and many prayers for you and your blessed family. Outstanding. Did he have a maroon shirt on? What happened to those? Nothing happened to those. They're still being investigated. If they orchestrated which hospital he was taken to, why would he need to go from hospital to hospital? Again, I don't know. Let's see. Is there a way to get 911 call records? Yes, I think we could do a grandma request for those. You might want to look into it, Ms. You're more than welcome to do it. Picture from behind CK when the bang happened shows the face of the mic explosion, blowing his head back into the left. I think that broke his neck. I'd be shocking if that could break your neck in that many places. Watch out for the pizza chopper above your house. Do you have a safe room close by? Connor Henderson looks just like the Stairwell guy for sure. Looks like it to me. I don't know. Watching Jay Epps' Nextlet show, Vanity Fair journalist was threatened with doctors hurting her unborn child. What? EK said witches can cast a spell. Yeah, we talked about the witches. I didn't know about the witch doctor. New photos of Lance Twiggs looks staged. He's posing. Students reported the man in black opposed opposition. The assassin boyfriend Antifa funded. Witness protection to Daily Mail. They don't look too staged to me, and I don't know what would be the point of staging them. I don't know what the point of staging them would be. These police scanners are telling and so important. Thank you, Baron and Daisy, for all your work. Crisis King indeed. Yeah, Daisy's integral, guys. Absolutely stellar. Question tune. Could the expanded CK team include a Green Beret from Cali who has a bro looking for victims? Just thought, yeah, maybe. Great work, Baron. Stay safe and get some security. You guys are that worried? Should I be that? I'm not worried. Should I be worried? I've always kind of looked at it. They're like, Tucker's alive. Candace is alive. I mean, I think there would be higher profile targets than your humble host. You guys got me worried. We have to think like this. Yo, Crisis King indeed. St. Michael Archangel be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. Correct. Crisis King indeed. Thank you. There were multiple Tyler Robinson lookalikes that day on purpose. I'm beginning to think that all these Tyler Robinson characters are part of the plan, including courtroom Tyler Robinson. Yeah, maybe. Alexander Cabot. Wow. Thank you. Charlie Kirk, taken out by the elite to prevent progression, is honored with a day of dedication with continuing their immoral depravity falsely under Charlie Kirk's name. Moral depravity is done on an island named in honor of James, brother to Jesus, who was taken out by religious elite to prevent progression. That's an interesting take on the James Island. I do think that the whole, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. The whole federal government involvement immediately upon the death of Charlie Kirk is suspect, and we're going to analyze it tomorrow, because it was more than just a day of dedication. It was phenomenal. It was a serious amount of interest from the federal government went into the Charlie Kirk case within minutes. Very unusual. Thank you for that unbelievably generous donation. Some girl on the talked about the event, and after contacted her and offered her own cosmetic line. I saw that from DOTERRA, or the owners of DOTERRA, the MAXFIELD people. Yeah. I'm a sucker for a good are you happy to see me joke. Is that a Mauser in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? You'll get me every time. You set a trap with a you happy to see me joke, I'm going to walk right into it. Face first every time. That is great. Great humor. I'm glad you made me laugh. This is a heavy show. I grew up in Sierra Vista, Arizona, where Fort Huachuca is located. I graduated from Buena Vista High School, class of 1998. Just a coincidence, I'm sure, but there's a huge LDS community at Fort Huachuca. Probably a coincidence. Probably Zach vehicle description was a Toyota Camry too. I'm pretty sure I heard Corolla. Was there also a Camry in there? I'll have to go back and listen. Thank you. Oh, from a dispatcher. Baron, you're cooking tonight. Don't interrupt the chef. He's dropping gourmet knowledge. Keep going, Max. Thank you. I'm doing my best over here. I'm doing my best. Oh. The car with flashers was Cash looking for his FBI badge for his jacket. I forgot about that story. Thank you. That was great. That's going on the Timeline show tomorrow. Has anyone tried to talk to Charlie or Tyler's parents? Charlie's or Tyler's parents? Yes, someone has spoken to Tyler's family. I don't know about his parents directly, but Billy and Brandy spoke with the family. Great show. If you haven't seen it, you need to go look at it. If Tyler didn't do it, wouldn't his parents know? His family doesn't think he did. Or has anyone tried to reach out to Charlie's apartment neighbors? They may have heard things. Yeah, Candace has talked to him. She's been covering that. So yeah, we're working here, people. We're working. Okay, so this is a good question. Admittedly, this is a low class move, and I apologize. We're dignified. We're fancy hillbilly stemware. So what had happened was I had my fancy stemware right here, but on the members show last night, I drank an unsweetened iced tea with it. And in my haste to get back to my family after the members show, I didn't take it and wash it. So it's been sitting here all night with iced tea in it. So it's got that little brown dried up ring on the bottom, as happens. So I went to get the other fancy stemware, and it too was occupied. Left with no fancy stemware, I had to resort to a bottle of Fiji water, trying to cure my autism. The Fiji water, I'm not going down. You just reminded me I'm thirsty. I don't want to go down. I don't want to downgrade from fancy stemware mason jar to just standard mason jar. So I have plenty, but I've already introduced you guys to the fancy stemware mason jar. I can't go backwards. So I just grabbed a bottle of Fiji on the way in. Y'all think I'm kidding about this autism cure? I read I read an article where it said that the Fiji water had enough dissolved, I think it's silicon or silica or something, it has enough dissolved something in it that attaches to metals in your body and flushes them out when you go number 2. And so I sent Mrs. Coleman to the store. I said, I need some Fiji water. I don't want metals in my body. I don't even know if I have any, but can you go get some Fiji water? I'm going to drink it for a few weeks. Get all flushed out. Baron, love your show. Your opening statements. Oh, thank you. Love you too. Serva. Haven't missed an episode since November. Check your email. Dispatch audio sent at 7:32 p.m. Could you drop links in description to audio, video, satellite images you reference, like episode 58? So helpful. Probably could. Probably could. I will think about it. Did Dispatch give Camry license plate near DOTERRA? No, I don't think so. They didn't. I don't know if they had one. Brilliant work. Like always, who needs Netflix subscription? We have Sir Baron, PI. You guys should be on the FBI payroll, out with KP and Co. They've been disappointing, to say the least. They've been disappointing. Did I see Erica at a Chicago high school telling girls to be modest and for them to not do anything that would end up on the front page of a newspaper? She sounded so defeated. Enjoyed it. She did sound defeated, and her Instagram had to go private because of all the things she said that are now ending up on the front page of every YouTube channel and X. So if it weren't for double standards, she'd have no standards at all. Do you think the FBI allowed Einstein to be put in jail so they could have all the files for themselves? 2, if Charlie was worried he would be killed, wouldn't he want to sleep with his wife and kids? Depends on how mad he was at her. As to the first one, I don't know. I hadn't really considered that. You may not be dead. Any links between these Epstein. Any links between these new revisited players and Francevez? Something to look into. Yeah, something to look into indeed. There was some link. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't to them. I can't remember what it was. There was some link in the back of my head I wanted to remember to look up, and I forgot, and you just reminded me. Baron, with all that guy's creds, would you not think it was TR? Great work, sir. Bet he was one of 3 walking down the street? Maybe. I thought about that as well. This all makes sense. It does, doesn't it? That's sad. After seeing that picture, I literally yelled at the TV and got instant chills. I live in Utah, and being a PD dispatcher, I am floored. Great show. Thank you, Cher Morton. That is our second. Are you the other PD dispatcher? But you're the second dispatcher watching? This is interesting because this is last couple shows have been heavy on dispatch audio. Can I ask you guys a question? Will you speak more cleanly next time there's a major national tragedy? Because Daisy and I spend hours going back transcribing a 5-second clip so that we can get it accurate. I don't know why everybody talks normally and they get on a police dispatch like, Roger that, 10-4. Into dispatch 1511. I've never understood it. I've never heard clean dispatch audio. Speak clearly, people. It might be important. But yes, I literally yelled at the screen when I saw it too. I thought, oh, that's the same guy. Or it looks like the same guy. Going from hospital to hospital. Who reported this? Kind of vague. Which hospital specifically? The statement is not factual. No, the statement's factual. The statement is that he was going. The statement, another one, let me say this. It's factual that statement was made by 2 different dispatches. That's factual. What we don't have is evidence to support why it was said. We don't know if it was a 911 call. We don't know if somebody in the hospital said that. But that's not to say that the statement's not factual. You don't know if the statement's factual. Roger that. 10-4. Hey, Cashy, where you at? Oh, yeah. Good question. Good question. What was Ahmed's first $4 million contract? Was it by chance a few months or weeks before any other big SOP event? Ooh, that's a good question. I think it was during COVID. I'll pull that up. Do I have the run of show still up? Yes. That's a good question. I'll pull back up his contracts and we'll look. Great. What a great question. See, this is why we have the jury. USA spending for built. Here we go. His other big contract was for COVID-19 DIB at, here, I'll let you guys see it with me so you can see what I'm reading. I don't want to be, I don't want to read, I'll read it like a police dispatcher while you guys look on. COVID-19 DIB adaptation to company software to provide 3-dimensional structure, right? Managed test. COVID-19 DIB adaptation of company software to provide 3-dimension instructions for maintenance tasks. I don't know why that needs, oh, that's not the big one. Oh, yeah, that was the first big one. That was the first big one right there. And it was on gosh, when was it? July of 2020. So you guys, now you jury members, do your thing. Figure out if that's connected to any other major PSYOP that happened that summer. July of 2020. Go! Is the Chris Farnsworth, who's an exec for DOTERRA, related to our favorite selfie guy? Oh, that's a great question. See, jury, this is why we do this program. This is why we do this program. This is a good question. Sure looks like he could be. Flip this. This is good. This is good. Oh, you guys can't see. You guys want another Boy Scouts of America connection. What's up with all the Boy Scouts? The most Boy Scoutingest group of people I've ever researched. That's a good question. I'm going to leave that pulled up and look at it again at the end. Thank you for doing that. Let's see. Oh, this is a great point. More and more convinced daily EK forgave TR so quickly because she knew he was innocent and just wanted to look virtuous and gain even more sympathy. Yeah. And she wanted to put an end to the investigation. They want this done quickly. I think they're pissed he's alive, frankly. I used to think that neighbor sheriff's deputy that helped him convince himself to turn him in was a villain. I don't think that. I think he's a hero. Because he might not be alive. Might have been killed in a shootout and then planted a gun on him. Be like, oh, look, he was going to kill us. He killed himself on our way in. Candace Owens, November 11th episode, talks about CK had a chart at Utah Valley Hospital. People thought he went there originally for some reason. Zach probably went there first thinking the same thing. I don't know if she said he had a chart. I think there was a, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about. Please look at the AI-generated picture I just emailed you. I added a black hat, glasses, and black shirt to the man you think looks like Stairwell Man. Looks just like him. I don't love AI-generated images, but that sounds intriguing. Let's find out. Let's find out. It'll give you an idea of how many. I don't see it. Did you email realbaronpodcast@gmail.com? Because if not, I block everybody. I'm now taking to blocking everybody who emails any other email address. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Everyone, I get too many emails at other addresses that plug up the inboxes. So I'm going to have to start blocking people. What's up, Candace? What's up, Ian? What's up, Coach Colin? What's up, Jesse on fire? Hey, man, enjoying the show. What's up, Andrew? Ephesians 2:8-9. You didn't get it past us, Andrew. We figured it out. We figured it out. This show was fire. You're truly building a case, great case for Charlie, one we can see unfolding for our eyes. Thank you for all your hard work. Got us good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I did happen to notice he was based in Arizona. I did happen to notice that. Well done, Baron. You should do a live with Daily Fredo. I believe she has good insight on the Charlie Kirk investigation. Kirk Smart recently did 2 lives with her, and she is from Cypress, from the Lone Star state of Texas. I mean, I can't just invite myself on other people's shows. No, she'd be good. Baron, Nashville neighbor here. The Precision Arsenal explosion decimated an entire town here in Tennessee. Haven't heard anything about it since it happened. Thoughts? Sending love from Germantown. We've talked about it here on this program quite a bit. And I'm not just tooting my own horn. I did a show on that explosion 2 days after it happened. I don't remember the exact dates, but I think it was like October 16th it happened, and maybe October 14th it happened, and October 16th I did a show. Or maybe it was like the 12th and the 14th, but it was like right then. Oh, no, it happened on October 10th, and I did a show on October 12th because I just got back in town. I was out of town when it happened. And I got back in town, fired up the camera, and I was like, hey, did you guys see this explosion? Look at the contract they got. It delivered on October 25th. Look what it was about. It was about micro explosions, mini explosives. And I was the first one to make that connection. Again, not tooting my own horn, but stating that for the purpose of saying this information has been out there a long time. People should have drawn inferences at this point. People should have been able to make those connections by now. Because I made it quick. As soon as I heard about it, I was like, ooh, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. Not a high IQ person, but after listening to you these last few months, I feel like I'm qualified to be part of the high IQ outfit now. If you're listening, you're part of the high IQ outfit. We have that effect on people. Some people hear you speaking in their head, Christ is king. Others hear you saying baby mama drama. I was in church. I was kneeling for the tabernacle, and all I could hear was you in my ear. Baby mama drama. He had baby mama drama. I hear Zach everywhere I go. Thank you. Very kind. I hear Zach everywhere I go. MAXFIELD doesn't own DOTERRA. However, I have familiarity with Utah and MLMs. And since he founded Unique, he probably has ties to MLM executives. They jump from company to company. I don't believe that's accurate. That's why I pulled it up. MAXFIELD. I don't think that's correct. No, not DOTERRA, MAXFIELD. Derek MAXFIELD, DOTERRA. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I was wrong. I thought I was right about that. No, he owned, that's right. He owns Unique. Oh, man, I apologize for that. Oh, well, it was a slight detour at the end. Why did I look that up today and thought I found that? How did we miss that? Co-founder of Unique and co-founding board member of Sapria. Oh, that's right. He was the child victims. Thrives at the intersection of innovation and impact. They also serves as a CEO of the new company Comigo. What is Comigo? No more chasing payments. Oh, it's a payment processor. Oh, it's a money laundering operation. Yeah, I apologize if I got that wrong, guys. It's still fascinating, by the way, that a Camry was found right there. Either way, but thanks for the correction. Always welcome to gentle correction. So yet another individual involved in September 10th whose parents received U.S. defense contracts. I do not believe in coincidences. Also makes sense why the cameras at the hospital recorded nothing. Yeah. Someone please find out how EK has Presidential Medal of Freedom ring. She says and tells what all rings are on Barry Weiss interview. He gave it to her. She make it from the CK pen. I think the story was she had it made based on the design of the Medal of Freedom, is what I heard. Keep going, Max. I will do that. Fellow Catholic from the Balkans. Oh, we're huge in the Balkans. Appreciate all you do. My wife, Angela, and I watch every episode. See? Even bigger in the Balkans than we knew. Could you please give her a big shout out? Hey, Angela. But Baron, I can't be bought. You offend me. Oh. The next video I'm about to post may be the last time Buff Baron makes an appearance. Oh, no. I've ruined it. I look so good in your cartoons. If you've not watched AD Fleet on YouTube, you're missing out. They're fantastic. I didn't mean to hit you in the crossfire of my beef with Colin for calling me 67 years old. I'm only 46. Baron, in the SB Super Bowl halftime show, Bad Bunny had hundreds of cast members dressed as literal bushes. Reminded me of 910 Butch talking to the bush. I guarantee you, Erica wishes Candace would come down with an acute case of laryngitis Sunday night. Go Max Christ is King. I'll be watching Candace Monday. Nobody doubt it. I'll be there. Look at the vehicles behind Tyler on stairs. I have. Derek Maxfield, also the founder and CEO of Unique MLM, said to support children of transportation, child transportation. Yeah, apparently he does not own DOTERRA, but it's there's a Camry there nonetheless. Baron, there was a high-profile death at first contract of Built. What? Really? Built Inc. Death. Goodness gracious. I'll have to look that up. I'm not seeing it. That's scary. Can you email me that? realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Oh my goodness. Mr. Barron, what an awesome program. I'm convinced you're going to find those responsible. What will be done with the info? I have seen on YouTube that EK and Tyler knew each other earlier. Bless your heart. Thank you so much. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I do believe they knew each other earlier. I do. I really do. I agree. It's an awesome program. I do. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you for that generous contribution to the program. Keeping it up. Thank you. Oh gosh. I also had the most perfect girl named Lucy. She has crossed the Rainbow Bridge a few days ago. Thanks for the laughs. Oh, you must be talking about your pooch. Sorry to hear that. Cradle Catholic. Parochial school, K-12. Haven't church in over 20 years. Thank you for the inspiration leading me back. Attended Mass today and feeling a lightness not felt in years. That's 3 people who've not been to Mass in more than 20 years who all went back to church today. We encourage church behavior here, ladies and gentlemen. We encourage it. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Love members chat yesterday. This new info needs deep dives, and we, the jury, are here for you. Doobie. We have a job for you. Oh, talking about Scoobs. By the way, Christ is King indeed. Hey, yeah, I mean, one of the great aspects of crowdsourcing and decentralizing investigations like this is we can bring you information and you guys can correct on the fly like you did with the DOTERRA thing, and it's more than welcome. We want to be accurate. So you can correct on the fly, and you can add to it, like the guy who said that he thought there was a high-profile death. We'll look into that. A guy who said he found a Farnsworth that worked at one of those companies. We'll look into that. So there's just a lot. There's a lot that can be done when you have, the tiny little teams these podcasts have. The biggest of them have teams of like 4, 5. Smaller ones have teams of 1 or 2. We can't do it all. So we bring you what we find, and then you guys expand on it, bring more information, or do your own shows, or post on X or whatever, and we learn. We all learn from each other. It's been fantastic. Really? Hold on. You search the Einstein files for 110 LLC, and the name appeared on some court docs. Not sure if this is the same 110 LLC, but thought it was interesting. I think it's interesting. I'm going to do a quick 110 LLC search myself and see what I find. We'll do it quickly right here together. Search the full Einstein library. 110 LLC it is. Here's one. Let me do a internal search. Oh, no, that's not that's at least that one's not the same. That's apartment number 110 LLC. So all these on this page, and I think this is all of them that they have, are all an apartment number 110 LLC. So and that happens. People buy a building and they'll name the LLC after the address. So if you bought a house at 123 Berry Lane to rent out, you might title it in 123 Berry Lane LLC. That way it puts a corporate veil between you and potential people trying to do you harm. Baron, Candace's episode 245 features 3 men. They seem to be the men you were just talking about. Really? Candace Owens 245 at YouTube. See if we can find that. Let's do a quick little scan here on the little bottom one. Oh. No, they look different. Wait a minute. That guy might not look different. Here, let's look together, shall we? The guy on the right may not look different, actually. Is that him up there on the right? Kind of looks like him. I'm telling you, that guy in the stairwell looks like the emergency department guy. I don't know. I could be wrong. No, that's not him. That's a different guy. I think. Yeah, I think it's a different person. Good call, though. Good catch. Good catch. You guys are good. You guys are excellent out there. Yeah, I'll do this one quickly because I did it yesterday on the member show. Different person. Different person. Check Google Trends search for terms in Texas or wherever the dad was located. Yeah, I will. I'll do a little dive on that. Thank you. All your nose itching is making my nose itch. I twitch. I mean, I scratch hair. I pull on my ears. I'm sorry, guys. It's a lifelong problem. I was at the Provo Hospital after the Charlie Kirk event. It was locked down tight. No one went in or out. Officers at every entrance. Now I understand. Helga Shabalaba Ding Dong. I hope you're feeling better these days. I could see how aggressive humming would get old. It does. Mrs. Coleman's not amused with my new habit. Baron, on 9/10, a young man was being interviewed and another young man jerked him away and chastised him harshly. It was first obvious display of deceit I've seen. You aware of this? If so, any insight? I've talked about it. I agree with you. Love your show. Thank you for encouraging us to look at everything and ask questions. Can the ER and or hospital parking lot footage be reviewed for possible vehicle connections? Oh, that's but it wouldn't have been before. No, so the images we have are from before the event. Like an hour before, 30, 45 minutes, an hour before. We would need afterwards. Now, if you're talking about contemporaneous recordings held by the hospital of the parking lots, my understanding is the FBI took all that, but I don't know. Heritage Foundation is a donor for America 250 Civics Coalition, a patriotic high school educational program by U.S. Department of Education in partnership with TPUSA. The coalition was announced 9/17/25, 1 week after Charlie's death. Many Z donors. Interesting. Interesting. That's something to look into. Candace, episode 245 as a TR lookalike? Yes. No, I don't think they're the same people. Well, and again, we covered this. It looks like he left his employment a month before. So that would be why. So apologize for the confusion on that. Why didn't you have AI put a hat and glasses on? Apparently somebody did. I don't know if they emailed the wrong email address. Email it to realbaronpodcast@gmail.com and we'll take a look at it. Thank you. You made me laugh. You're welcome. Apparently laughter is good medicine. Hi, Baron. Love your show. You mentioned helicopters around your house recently, and I know Candace mentioning she lived near you. Maybe give her a heads up. Should be concerned about her or her safety. I will let her know. I need to look at the flight path and see it went over her house. I don't know where she lives. Oh, this is interesting. Sent you an email on February 14, National Terrorism Advisory System Bulletin. Dates are June 22 to September 22. Doesn't happen all the time. Might be interesting giving you information. Well, that's interesting. 100% opinion, but I think the priest to pray over Charlie was something to do with St. Michael's necklace. I think that necklace had been tampered with. Can't prove it. Way too much interest and discussion about that necklace for it to not have something to do with it, in my opinion. I don't know, but Baron, I had to run a few errands today. While I was out, I couldn't help but look obsessively for Tyler's car. It was crazy. Thank you again. In VT, in Vermont, I'm assuming. Kimmy, be safe on the road up there. Don't be looking for cars while you're driving. Holy Roller here. My best work buddies were always Catholic. I looked up similarities. Pentecostals have more in common with Catholics than most other Protestant denominations. My son Vaughn says you're awesome. I think Vaughn is awesome. Toby Stevens could play you in a movie? Who's that? He better be dashing. Is it with a V or a PH? PH. Toby Stevens? Oh, he's old. No, he's not old. Who is that? No, he's old. He's 56. Ma'am, how old do you think I am? Lord have mercy. I don't know whether to be offended or flattered. He is an attractive man. Baron and Candace, the dream team. Keep it up even if the truth is proven. Do you think those responsible face any justice? I hope so. From Canada. Canuck Bucks. Never miss you or Candace. Great research. Crisis King. Thank you. My wife and I watch your show religiously. Keep up the great work. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Jamie. Happy birthday, Jamie. Hope you're doing well. Any hospital CK was taken to would have been placed on immediate lockdown. No one in or out. If there was an individual reported and allegedly armed, all nearby hospitals would be on lockdown until the suspect was secured. Oh, you have inside information about that. Thank you. Please hold as I catch up from the first live. Missed the start of. Had to spend my husband's money to make him work harder for Baron Bucks. I do give a Dom. Oh, you do, Dom? I give a Dom about Dom. Dom's such a good commenter. No such thing as that many coincidences. This info needs a deeper dive into it. We, the jury, are ready to dive. You can count on us. Good. I need you guys diving, but be safe about it. It's Theo. It's the best mod ever. You rock, man. Oh, thank you. Theo is a girl. She goes, Max. You rock, woman. What blue and green are my favorite colors? Is that why you always thought I was a dude? One of those bros, Dom. All right, Dom, we share colors in common. What else do we have? You grumblers. I went back. I kept the channel. I kept the grumble open the other day after the show ended. And happy 21st birthday, Baron. Dom is my girl. Hey, I kept the grumble open after I went off air the other day, and then I scrolled back like an hour and just read every text message. Those people are insane. I don't know what they're doing over there. Like, they weren't even talking about the show. They were just having an argument about something else. I was like, guys, there's entertainment and information on the screen in front of you. Right here. That's okay, though. As long as you're having fun, I'm doing my job. Any Oh, read that. What an episode. As investigative journalist, I don't say this lightly, but the depth of research has me saying, wow, every few minutes. I'd love to read your investigative journalism. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Tired of gifting memberships, but since I'm on my iPhone, YouTube doesn't have the option. Oh, tried gifting memberships. Oh, I didn't know that. They didn't have it on the iPhone. What's my opinion on the March 7th protest? I don't even know what that is. IMO, there's plenty of evidence. No one doing anything. Government is involved in protecting these people. So what do we do with the info? Well, it seems like it. What date did the Tennessee explosive contract deliver? 25 of August 25th. Why do you keep saying clip that? Is your sister finally working with? I have a something running in the background that supposedly is going to clip if I say clip that. So I might clip that as well. I might clip that. And then, oh gosh, I might have confused it. I'm testing it tonight to see if it works. So we'll see. We'll see. Baron, be careful. They're searching you on Google Trends. Oh no. Oh, does AES do business with Bill? I don't know. Oh, I took the bite about Coach. He was joking. Well, Coach, I'm sorry for calling you fat or thin or not muscular. Because you do look pretty jacked under there. I was just a little scared. I figured I'd go right after your strong suit so that, if you're going after somebody, you don't go after a weakness. You go right at their strongest thing. If they're big and muscular, you're like, that ain't that strong. They kind of look weak to me. Maybe a little soft. Oh, not bowel movement. Okay. Good, because I don't want bowel movement on my wall. BM is Benjamin Moore Paint. Also, I bet that Erica's AK social posts are AI photos and videos trying to drum up sympathy. Everything is fake and gay. Yes, except Benjamin Moore Paint, which is thankfully not bowel movement. So the question is, why don't Ray, make the Fed slop more easily digestible? Good question. I think they tried to. So strange. I worked under Derek and MAXFIELD and family for their makeup company. Unique seemed like a great guy. Christian, he has leukemia. A lot of proceeds go to women's retreat for SA survivors and healing journey. He might be the greatest guy in the history of the world. I make no judgments about him. I don't know anything about him. He might be, again, I was obviously wrong about him owning doTERRA, completely wrong about that. And have issued the appropriate correction. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of his plane that day. It could have been a perfectly innocent flight. I'm not drawing conclusions. I'm just giving you guys facts to run down. And you just brought us some facts. He's a great guy with leukemia, and I feel bad for him. I feel bad he has leukemia. I don't want anyone to be sick. Your legal background adds so much to this investigation. So glad you're on the case. Sounds like you're on the right track, but do you agree the number of people involved has grown to crazy levels? No. Because what you have this is a good question. What you have in any good operation is segmentation. So when you build the nuclear bomb for the first time, no one really knows what they're working on. They know they're working on a piece. I'm working on some sort of detonation device, or I'm working on some sort of casing to go around a big object. I'm working on, some sort of shielding or whatever. You don't tell everyone what they're working on. Only a handful of people know the whole story. I mean, there could have been people that had no idea they were involved that were doing integral parts. So I don't think so. Like, there could have been a whole team of people that, hey, we're all going to the Charlie Kirk thing. Everybody wear these maroon shirts. That way we can spot each other in the crowd. They have no idea. They're like, okay, I'll throw one on. Why not? Sorry. Thank you. This is a show or two late, but I'm pretty sure the recent Tucker video where he says he loves Erica is an excerpt from an old interview. I remember seeing it weeks, not months ago. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his thoughts are on it. Happy 1 month anniversary. So glad you found me. Am I glad I found you? It's a shiny mess. Never been gladder in my life than I am in this very one moment. Make sure you have a Smith & Wesson or Ruger insurance policy. I have both of those policies and more. Baron, does this info connect to why the FBI took the hospital footage to cover up him going to the hospitals? Thank you for an amazing show. So many Blues Clues. It could. It absolutely could. I don't know. Awesome work. Thank you and Daisy for your curiosity. I think the Green Beret brother could be TR's stuntman on the roof. That would explain his athleticism for sure. Let me look at him one more time here. What's his name? Zane Qureshi? Sure could be. Good call on that. Let me open his thing again. Good call on that. Yeah, that could definitely be him on the roof. I don't know, though. I mean, it could be anybody. I don't think it's Tyler Robinson, though. It's too athletic. Have you done any research on Philip Goldsberry Jr.? He is the one that put the lapel mic on Charlie. I have a whole file. Great show. I'm in the interest of going back over past info. I was doing that yesterday and noticed Terrell Farnsworth's father-in-law is the head of Duncan Aviation. No. Flip that. Is that true? Is this true? Is that can't be. That can't be true. I'm sorry. How have I not heard that by now? Or have I heard that and forgotten? You should look into David Koresh and how many children made it out of the Waco condition, but were still indoctrinated in that cult. I watched a lot of David Koresh stuff. I was fascinated by him for a while. Built Rewards is a platform operated by Built Inc. I don't know. Oh. It's AI. Happy Lent to you and yours. I did not know that. Why does everybody have payment processors? What the hell's up with that? That's convenient, isn't it? Or is that not a payment platform? Is there any other party verification of EK whereabouts between September 7th and 10th other than my account? It is confirmed she went to the hospital. Is it confirmed she went to the hospital? All I have heard is she was on plane with AK and doctor. Oh, on phone with AK and doctor. Is there any other verification of EK's whereabouts between September 7th and 10th? I don't think so. This is the real Mitch Snow, by the way. Is it confirmed she went to the hospital? I think so, but I don't know that for sure. All I have heard is that she was on phone with AK and doctor. We've been told she was at the hospital, but I don't know that it's been independently verified. Thank you for checking in. Revolution completed in secret. They team, village, boots on the ground, locally, reflects all faiths, ethnicities, and nationalities globally. Catholic teachings is their target, blaming others to hide their producer, writer, and director. Thank you for that generous contribution. Oh, Benjamin Moore, Vintage Vogue. Perfect green. Now, let's check that out. Benjamin Moore, Vintage Vogue. Ooh, that is the perfect green. Wow. Oh, that's going to look great. It'll be like I'm in the wilderness. Gosh, that's beautiful. I don't know if this will come across on YouTube. But if I'm looking, you guys might. Look how pretty that is. Imagine my office looking that good. Like, look at that. That's it. That's the one. Vintage Vogue. Thank you. Duly noted. Duly noted. Clip that. Straight on air. Love all you do. Just renew membership. I couldn't do without Baron. Thank you. All right. I got another tip on the Farnsworth catter here. I believe Dwayne Burt connects to Tammy Burt, wife, and Aaron Farnsworth, daughter, per 2013 Facebook post, with professional ties to microchip technology in semiconductor engineering and different Burt. I thought that was going to be about the Farnsworth connection there. And Duncan, but But that's good information. Good information. Roll that beautiful bean footage. I have 2 police scanner apps, and it's like listening to a waterboarded Autobot complaining about his dinner order. With all the modern tech too, got to do better. Yeah, I don't know why they mumble. 10-4. The leader is not so great architect. Well, your opinion. Speed photography. 20 years. It's staged, opposed opposition, create conspiracy to hide simple intelligence. Microphone. Look at the book he's holding. Study photography 20 years. So that's you're crediting the witness. It's staged. Oh, okay. It's staged opposition, create conspiracy to hide simple intelligence. Microphone. Look at the book he's holding. Okay. I don't know what the book he's holding is. I do have a Candace Owens talking about the Duncan and Farnsworth tie. So apparently we have that. Okay. So I'm going to play that because this is a short clip. Thank you, Daisy. Look at this. Investigating on the fly. This is amazing. Teamwork makes the dream work. Here we go. Miss Candace Owens, take it away.
Law is Thomas Burt, who ran Duncan Aviation. The FBO, I told you, that rented the cars for the feds. He actually ran Duncan Aviation as the executive vice president and COO for 22 years. Now, he did retire. He retired in 2019. There's just a lot of connections here that I think should be explored more about the Farnsworth family and the Boyer family. And I want to put this out here because something just, like I said, rubbed me the wrong way when I spoke to Terrell, and I can't let that feeling go.
So apparently he's been retired since 2019. But yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Built Inc. Here we go. Maybe this is a tip. Creators of 3D Intelligent Instructions has been awarded a $15 million strategic funding increase. Contract by the United States Air Force, July 2025. Sent link in email. Are you kidding me? What? If that's true, we will discuss tomorrow. Starting to look like we're onto something, ladies and gentlemen. Ding, 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 ding. Wow. 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 Could EK have been possibly dating a pro college athlete between 2010 and 2012 to become friends with JG, aspiring sports journalist? Researching this will shoot email if new info emerges. Favorite color hoodie. I'm 8 of 8. Big fams are the best. Yes, crazy Yorkie mom. They are the best. I'm glad to know my 8th will be a crazy Yorkie dad. That's a great hoodie. And let me know about the Jessica Gowie connection, if you can find it. RealBaronPodcast@gmail.com. RealBaronPodcast@gmail.com. Idaho in here. Utah has always been scandalous. Well, what do you guys have a some kind of sibling rivalry? Like you guys are out west and all the action's taking place east of the Mississippi, and you're like, we're bored. Have you seen those Utahns down there? You know they're scandalous. Oh, litter bugs, throwing stuff out their car windows when they come to Idaho. You know how they are. And then in Utah, they probably look up there and goes, those Idahoans, they think they're so fancy with their little 4-mile wide connection to Canada up there. They think they're something. They're like international, very cosmopolitan. They practically ride moose around like their Canadian friends up there. We know them. We know them. They've even got a city called Moscow. That's how scandalous they are. It's like a little fight between Idaho and Utah. I get it. Not a lot going on out there. It's like you leave your kids at home and they're bored and they start pestering each other. Guys, I just want you to sit down and do your homework. Okay, I'll do my homework. And then you walk out of the room and all of a sudden, ow, he's touching me. Ah. I get it. It says Utah, Idaho. No, sorry. More to this comment. Could be that there's so many tentacles to throw off law enforcement that are honest and not involved are thrown off the case before the FBI can solve the case. Just a thought. Yeah, if you so this is a good point. If you want to pull off something massive, throw 50 red herrings in there that look like something. Have a guy running around knocking on hospital doors. Is there Charlie Kirk in there? Thinking out loud. Oh, I do my best thinking out loud. But when I do my thinking out loud around other people, they think I'm talking to myself. They think I'm crazy. Maybe this Zechariah guy was going from hospital to hospital because his part of the maniacal plan was to retrieve a live Charlie Kirk before original plan went upside down. Just a thought, digging for the truth. Love you. Love you too. Thank you. Jesus wins for us. Solid username. I like that. I like that. He might have been the getaway driver. But it didn't work out. Or Jesse, a living Charlie Kirk, got in another car. Maybe they sent more than one. Just kidding. Speaking of Farsi, if President Trump doesn't attack Iran, knowing Israel owns the U.S. Congress, can or will Congress override Trump by declaring war on Iran? So there's something that's interesting. That brings up an interesting constitutional question. Just because Congress declares war and allocates money, does the president have to deploy assets? I don't know. I probably should, but I don't. I don't know. That's a good question. As soon as you said Air Force for the dad, I got chills. Not to be broken record, but Air Force covered up JFK murder and 9/11. Egypt Air 990 Military 217 died same plane settings with 50 miles and 72 days after JFK Junior crash Mortal Kombat. There's a lot going on in that one comment. Lord mercy. I don't know what you're talking about on the Egypt Air 990 Military 217. I don't know. I have to look into that. There's a lot going on there. Thank you for the comment. Hi, Baron. This is your third dispatcher from Mississippi all the time. Love your show. Watching from Mississippi all the time. We're almost as big in the dispatch community as we are in the Balkans. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane how crazy it is. No one of the owners of doTERRA, Rob Young, went to the same church school, know the whole family very well. Not sure MAXFIELD is an owner. Thank you. We made that correction. Great show tonight. Just keeps getting better. Huge fan. And doTERRA is probably a great company. I'm not making any comment about it. I don't even know what they do. I don't know if they... Wait a minute. I think I heard today what they did. I'll have to look at it. I can't remember. Someone told me what they did. I can't remember. It's some sort of product that made me think women bought it. It wasn't makeup, though. I know a Green Beret. Not me. That's the commenter. Although I do. And he was the most secretive person I've ever met. Most go on to work in the CIA. They call it office jobs. I hadn't heard that. Look up number meanings for 1223. 12 completion, 23 freedom. Says who? Can't wait for the female shirts with the verbiage, action, the front, G, we're huge in the Balkans, and hold please. Hold please. We're working on it. I talked to my sister today about merch. Some of the best CK info being given to podcasters are LDS people. I appreciate their support. I grew up around LDS. Some of the nicest people I know. Listeners, please stop judging all LDS by a few bad people. I don't judge. I'm not judging them. And I haven't seen too much judgment in the comments that I've seen. In-ray to person hanging out of car on the way to ER. If I was in the car with someone bleeding out, I'd be hanging out the window and vomiting. Oh, out the car and vomiting. And yes, I would have the door open because you never vomit out the window. I mean, I guess if they're bleeding out all over the floor, what's a little vomit in the mix? Trump's brother died after first contract. Interesting. Do you use FlightAware app on phone? What does app icon look like? Thanks, Kristen. My new FY sister is 19. I use two. I use Flight Radar 24 and FlightAware. FlightAware. And I use Plane Finder. Apparently I have 3. FlightAware has an airplane going like that. Flight Radar has what looks like a radar. And Plane Finder has also an airplane going. Must be popular. Must be very popular. Tucker just dropped a banger. Haven't watched. The title says enough for me. Don't throw Tucker out so early, guys. What did he drop? Well, I'll look at it in a minute. Great dig. Thanks. Edie Scribe looks shockingly similar to Dairy Queen Tyler photo. Just my 1 cent. Ooh. Tyler Robinson, Dairy Queen. That's interesting. He does kind of look like that guy, doesn't he? Wow. He does kind of look like that guy. But that guy also kind of looks like Tyler. Well, they kind of look alike. Conveniently, so to speak, allegedly. Maybe. First, super chat. Just want to let you know I keep getting Chris Pratt hollow ads during your podcast. Just started a few days ago. Thanks for all you do. God bless you, Crisis King. Well, they must think I'm him. They think I've grown an incredibly strong jawline, a stellar case of symmetry, and piqued my sense of humor quite a bit. Why doesn't Erica say Jesus or Christ? I've heard her say it, but it is rare because every time she does this. Yes. We covered. Thank you. Always happy. Add a banner with your email address just so there's no ambiguity. I have one. It's right. There we go. Michael Fassbender could play you in the Baron movie. Fassbender? Who's that? It's a cool name. It's like a Fender bass, but it's a Fassbender. I can see that one, actually. Guys, this one might work. You see him? See me? Well, the one on the right, because he looks older than that one. He kind of looks at the one on the left might be younger. I'm talking about this one over here on the right. I could kind of see that. Better than the others we've had to date. It looks like the person in the stairwell has an Audi belly, but how in the world can you tell that? Did you see? He might be happy to see us. Did you see Derek Maxfield is a founding board member of Sapria, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting survivors of childhood trauma, we'll call it. I did. His wife, he and his wife started that. Same 8/25 date as the guy from someone previous super chat? I don't know. I don't think Derek Maxfield's involved either. I thought he owned doTERRA. Throw that out. The bulk of the show, that was an afterthought. The bulk of the show was about, and I'll update the description. The bulk of the show was about the first part. So don't worry about that. I think he's probably fine. I don't rule anyone out, but I think he's probably fine. I apologize, lady. You're not old. You have more gray than me. Is that a dig? I apologize. 56 is quite young at heart and young physically, mentally, emotionally, practically a babe. I apologize. Won't happen again. Question about the white van and the satellite pics on Thursday, 2/12. It has a tarp. But from the side, there's some type of contraption, human tent on the roof. What is it? Zoom in. I don't know what you mean on Thursday, 2/12. Oh, you're talking about my Thursday show. Talking about my Thursday show. What? There's so many white. I don't know what white van you're talking about. I don't want to pull up those. I mean, we've been 3 hours and 36 minutes already. I don't want to. I'm a little impressed that you have managed your own office with 8 kids. I'm tempted to send you an Ole Miss hoodie just for sport. I don't hate Ole Miss. I don't hate Ole Miss. They're pretty harmless. And they gave us Tommy Tuberville, the greatest coach in Auburn history. So, thank you. We all know when Charlie was hit, but how about the one before that? The first question was about Mormons didn't like his take on their founder. Guess who owns the second most land in the country after the government? You're saying they decided at the drop of a hat to do it? The Big Bang, starring Jason Bateman as your humble host, Baron. Brought to you by High IQ Outfit Productions. Love your show. Watching from Joplin, Missouri. I don't think Jason Bateman could pull off your humble host. He's too serious. Although he was great in Arrested Development. I mean, great. It's one of my all-time favorite TV shows. I've watched, there's only 2 seasons, I think. And there's like a 3rd season on Netflix. It doesn't count. The original 2 seasons, there's only 2 seasons. And Jason Bateman was stellar. It's one of my favorite shows. I wish they'd made 10 seasons. Hey, Baron, after the other day, keep wondering who Brian Harpole was with at DFW the day before. Me too. Me too. Weird coincidence. We learned about Built today. It's only 7 miles from the airport. Love RBP Crisis King. This is why we do the shows. This is why we do the shows. If only we knew if somebody else had flown from that area on that day, be it a Qureshi, Henderson. If only we knew. Only we knew. Thank you. Thank you. I just sent some of my Qureshi research again. It's at the top of your list from Moonpost. Qureshi dad is TPUSA. Look that up. People keep saying that. Let me look that up. Ahmed Qureshi, TPUSA. I don't see it. If it's AI slop, I'm going to throw my computer across the room. If it's AI slop, I'm going to throw my computer across the room. I'm going to put a hole in the wall. I'll put a hole in the wall. Just kidding. Just kidding. I would never. Zach, Zane, Zaid, Qureshi, check podcast email. Will do. Will do. Thank you. Baron LDS Church used to be heavily involved in Boy Scouts. Oh, really? Most churches had their own scout troop up until the split from Boy Scouts when gender rules changed. You'll often find missionaries and Eagle Scouts in abundance in LDS. Keep up the great work. The LDS was, LDS maybe too. I don't know. I have no familiarity with it, but the Boy Scouts was a great organization for a long time. Then they ruined it. I don't know if they ruined it. They might have good Boy Scouts out there still. Maybe some great stellar troops, but the national organization kind of went weird on the gender thing. Thank you. Excellent work. Well, thank you. We are one. That reminds me of that joke of the Buddhist who orders a hot dog. Make me one with everything. Tuesday morning on Trigger Smarts podcast, someone came on and said he was the pilot that flew Erica Kirk to Utah and wanted to talk. I can't find his chat, but maybe the Amazing Daisy can help you find this individual. Maybe I'll just ask Trigger right now. I will send him a picture of this comment and see if he will respond. Or maybe he's watching. There you go, Matt. Send. That's easier than typing it out. Hopefully he'll respond to that text. The builders still reject the stone. Built stands for something already built. Trump refers to himself as the greatest builder. Referred to Charlie as a master builder in his speech at the stadium. Huh. Someone swing by Duncan for a license plate match. Maybe UVU hospitals on lockdown due to reports of suspect going hospital to hospital. That could be. Could be wrong. Was Connor Henderson interviewed on Salt Lake City TV in days after? Candace played a clip like this commenting how odd it was from Salt Lake City. That was right. Was that him? No. Was that him? I remember that. I'll have to find that. Was that him? No, that wasn't him. That was a guy with a different name. He had his name started with an I. His name started with an I. I'm seeing it in my head. I just can't say it. That wasn't him. Cabot's books. There are 2 bookcases, many books about assassins, CIA, military, accidental presidents, Mindhunter, Killing Patton, El Cesario, the 12-day chase for Lincoln's killer, etc. reveals mindset. What, that he's a psychopath? Great work today. Any one of these guys discussed today, possibly the guy walking through a maybe cafeteria at UVU with tactical-looking clothes too obvious to be suspicious. Yeah, maybe. Brigham Young and his mama unalived a large portion of my family in the Mountain Valley Massacre, 1857. Descendants of that side of the family contains Obama and Merle Haggard. Merle? No. I refuse to believe Merle Haggard had any connection to anything wrong with old Merle Haggard. Not a chance. Not a chance. Merle's great. Merle lived near me when I grew up. I mean, near me, a few miles away. I got a funny story. I worked at a car wash growing up, and this old man came up. That's so late. You guys probably don't want to hear the story. This old man came up to me. This would be good for a member show. And he had a Mercedes getting cleaned. And, I was buffing it out, drying it off at the end, and you got to go hand the guy the keys. And I'm walking over, and I noticed his license plate said Possum. And I said, what is that? No. I'm sorry. It said no show. No show. And I said, what does no show mean, if you don't mind me asking? I was even a curious teenager. And he said, that used to be my nickname. They called me Old No Show. And I said, why would they call you that? He said, well, when I worked, he said, I'm retired now, but when I worked, I missed a lot of work. And they called me Old No Show. And I said, well, how did you keep a job? He said, apparently I was pretty good when I was there. That was George Jones. I didn't recognize him. Not being a fan of Solid Gold Country at the time. Did not recognize Old No Show. Cleaned little Jimmy Dickens' car, and he had little extensions so he could reach the pedals. It was great. Oh, you already read that. Hey, so it's possible with me. Is it possible me with satellite footage to see Eric or Andrew at the airport, or is that a reach? Only if they were standing outside in the hour or so before. I can't imagine he went to the hospitals with gun out. How they'd know. In ERs, you can't walk around. You can get to the lobby, not any of the rooms. I guess not enough info, but hospital would have made a bigger deal of it, I believe. Confusing. First, thank you. Very generous contribution. Second, I agree with you. It's very confusing. And third, we've reached the end of the broadcast. So thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click notifications, share with your friends. Let everyone know we're having a good time over here. And there's some dadgum good research being done. There's no bull butter in these parts. No bull butter around here. No, ma'am. No, sir. I appreciate you joining me. I probably, in all likelihood, 100% will be back tomorrow. I want to say 98%. But I'm pretty confident we'll have a show tomorrow, probably roughly the same time, 5, maybe 6. And may even have to do a follow-up on Friday, depending on how much we get through tomorrow. So stay tuned. There's more to come. We're going back to the basics, blocking and tackling, seeing what it is we can find. I appreciate all your support. Appreciate your contributions. Appreciate you guys joining the page, being members. It's a great way to support the program that way. And that comes with the fun of having a little off-topic chatter and a little more Q&A activity where we can get to know each other a little better. Dom is over in the Grumblers demanding a daily show. So working on it, Dom, working on it. These shows take a lot of work to put together. Daisy just panicked when you said that. So appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, don't you ever forget, Jesus loves you. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.